Sincere apologies for the age. Let's just work with this. Again, thank you for joining us for this very interesting mind, feeling, and of course, strategic conversation here. Agribusiness, as we know it, much like artificial intelligence, is rapidly evolving. Transforming in methods, techniques, scopes in many ways. Stakeholders are constantly at the same time adapting, striving, and trying to keep pace with the sector's dynamic shifts. So today, beyond technology, agribusiness, as we all know it, stands out as one of the most promising and impactful areas for growth and innovation. But the big question remains: why, or better still, what are we getting right? Where are we falling short? And most importantly, how can we do better? So this gathering today brings together forward-thinking minds to explore answers, share ideas, and ignite conversations that will strengthen capacity and build better practices across the agricultural value chain. That's why this dialogue, themed Inclusive Agribusiness in Nigeria, a public-private dialogue, as hosted by Two-Scale Program and the Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Nigeria, will expectedly spotlight how inclusive agribusiness is reshaping Nigeria's food systems. On that note, let me again welcome everyone for finding time to join us. My name is Fortuna Moshola. You can call me the General for the purpose of this conversation. I would help navigate the conversation and, of course, be the moderator for this event. But before we get right in, let me take time, just a bit of your time. We won't waste any time. We understand that time is money. Time is money as we speak. So let's recognize the presence of some important guest individuals and persons that are seated among us here to shape the conversations that we would have today. First on my list here, I have the Consul. But before then, please, while I recognize these people, please be generous with your applause for them as I make time to recognize them. The first on my list is the Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands here in Lagos, Michel Deline. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you for finding time to join us, Consul General. And of course, the most important person, of course, the person why that I've found time to organize this so that we all are enriched in the conversations ahead. I have the program director of Two Scale, Marina Diboma, seated right here with us. A round of applause for her. Also, I have someone who resonates back home for me. Well, I'm not from Ekiti State, but we understand what he's doing there. I've worked there for a while, and he's such, a stakeholder in this industry who is doing great stuff in Ekiti State. It's my pleasure to welcome to this gathering the Commissioner for Agriculture, Ekiti State, Ebenezer Boluwade. A round of applause for him. Welcome, my Commissioner, sir. And of course, I have another important guest with us, is the Managing Director, Bank of Agriculture, Ayo Shotiri. Thank you, sir, for coming. A round of applause. Very well then, we'll move on speedily. I have the Group Head, Agribusiness and Solid Minerals, one of the cool banks, yes, in Nigeria. Let me say cool banks, and that's Sterling Bank, the Group Head, Agribusiness and Solid Minerals, Sterling Bank, Olushola Obikonye. Good to have you join us. Thank you very much, sir. And seated with us, we have the President, Institute of Agribusiness Management. He's a strategic partner with Two Scale, Professor Andy Bresibe. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, sir. Professors, they are usually very simple, but there's a lot with them. Thank you for finding time, sir. And we have the MD CEO, Sultry International, Yemisi Ironloye. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much, man. We have seated here the head of Agric Okomo Oil Palm PLC, Billy Ganza. Is he here? Thank you, sir. Don't be scared, you're here. And of course, we have the DGCO, Lagos Chambers of Commerce, Dr. Chinyere Almona. Thank you for joining in this year. Thank you, ma. She looks stunning, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you for joining in, ma. And we also have the country team lead to Scale Nigeria, Mr. Maxwell Olitsa. Oga Maxwell, right? And still on the list, we have the MD/CEO, VD&S Farmer Center, Mrs. Folake Aino. Thank you for joining. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming. Let's take more. We have seated here with us the Country Women's Association of Nigeria. She's the national president. We call them COAN, Princess Adeshola Ogunleye. Thank you for coming. Well recognized. And of course, we have the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, Agric Subsector Ondo State, Foluke O. Tunde Daramola, Mrs. Thank you for joining in, ma'am. Like I said, we're going to speed things up, and as much as possible, we would enrich the conversation. So feel free to ask your questions, and most importantly, please listen with rapt attention, because I'll be giving out 1 Bitcoin to someone who is able to answer one of my questions. I know what the worth of 1 Bitcoin is. That's well over 90,000 US dollars. So isn't that something as we go? All right then. I have, before we get to the next thing on the agenda, let me recognize 2 persons here quickly. Of course, we will recognize more people as they come in. We have the program director, OT Nigeria Program, Mohamed Salasi. Good to have you here. Thank you so much, sir. And we have the Director General, Nasima Olushola Obadimu. Thank you for coming, sir. Yes, he's raising his hands there. Thank you so much, sir. All right, let's get straight to the why. Some would say the reason why. The reason why is wrong. Why or the reason? You know, Nigerians, we like tautology. It's all right. It's all good. It's part of our culture. It's what makes us stand out in the crowd. We craft stuff differently outside other members of the world. Anyways, let's get straight to it. We have a very important one here, and that's the welcome remarks to usher us into the conversation and all of that things we are going to do here today. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome here to the podium the program director to Scale, Marina Diboma, to give us a welcome address.
Good morning, Icaro, distinguished guests, partners, colleagues, friends, all protocol observed. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you here today for this special event that focuses on inclusive agribusiness in Nigeria through a dialogue between public and private stakeholders. Allow me to also acknowledge the continuous resilience and commitment of the actors on the ground, where To Scale has been implemented in 2 phases. In phase 1 from 2012 to 2018, and phase 2, 2019 to 2025. Your initiatives, co-investment, dedication, commitment to achieving food security are truly commendable and have been instrumental in driving sustainable development and in inclusive growth in all the countries where we have been active. And thanks to your efforts, opportunities for youth and women to thrive are actively participate in the value chains have significantly increased. And by doing so, each actor in the value chain is recognized as an entrepreneur. And I'm very happy and proud to know that some of those actors are present in this room, and please give them a big hand. You can give a bigger hand on that. Come on. They deserve it because they're really the champions who made this two-skill program possible. I would also like to acknowledge the continuous support and trust of the Dutch government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through two directorates, the Department of Sustainable Economic Development and the Department of Inclusive Green Growth. And I'm very happy also to have the Consul General present among us today. Allow me also to say a big thank you to all consortium partners, past and present. Let me name them. For the past 13 years, ICRA, SNV, BOPINC, PRC, and IFDC, that has been the leading organization. Last but not least, the two-skill team. I would like to acknowledge their resilience. Their dedication and hard work have been pivotal in overcoming challenges and achieving our goals in promoting inclusive agribusiness and food security. Today marks an important milestone in our journey towards achieving food security and sustainable agricultural development, not only in Nigeria, but also in Africa. Over the past 13 years, two-skill has made significant steps in promoting inclusive agribusiness. We have worked in numerous value chains to empower various actors, foster partnerships, and created market opportunity that drive economic growth and social impact. Today, you will listen to many inspiring stories from the field, including some of here in Nigeria, highlighting the transformative impact of our interventions. These stories are a testament to the power of public-private partnerships and collaboration. The two-scale journey has not been just an easy one. It has also been filled with challenges, not only for program implementers, but also, more important, for the actors in the field. We have faced challenges such as climate change, political instability, insecurity, COVID-19 pandemic, supply chain disruptions due to the Russia-Ukraine war, to market access issues. So our journey has not been without obstacles, but despite this, everyone stayed committed to empower their local communities to achieving the objectives set when we started the two-scale program. When one speaks about challenges, we can also say we learn from difficult times. So these challenges have come with invaluable lessons that have strengthened and improved our intervention strategies. As a program, we had to adapt to the new realities and refine how we collaborate on the ground. This is also the reality we face, that millions of people have access to nutritious food and affordable food products. These experiences underscore the importance of resilience and innovation in promoting food security. Two-scale has reached its final year. We are not here yet to say goodbye, though. In this final year, our focus is firmly on ensuring sustainability and continuity beyond 2025 of all the work that we have done. Our handover efforts in Nigeria and across partner countries are centered on 5 key priorities. The first one is on strengthening local ownership. So working closely with national actors, government agencies, local agribusiness, private sector, inclusive agribusiness clubs, knowledge institutions, is to equip them with the relevant knowledge and skills to continue driving inclusive agribusiness agendas. The second priority is on institutionalizing the two-scale approach by sharing our practice toolkits, our case studies, our digital resources with stakeholders so that inclusive agribusiness development becomes embedded in policies, in education, in business practices. The third priority, knowledge exchange and legacy building. That's what we're doing today. Through documentation, storytelling, and knowledge sharing events just like this one, and we aim to inspire replication and scaling by others. The fourth priority, private sector engagement. The MC just introduced many important actors present in the room, among them private sector actors. So it's also an opportunity to ensure that there is more collaboration being established and partnerships to continue driving this agenda of inclusive agribusiness. And the fifth and last priority is strengthening multi-stakeholder alliances. To scale is supporting existing platforms and alliances such as the inclusive agribusiness clubs and national bodies to continue promoting collaboration even when the program ends. So our goal is not just to end well, but to transition our successes into long-term, locally driven impacts. And I'm proud of the partnership we have in Nigeria with the Institute of Agriculture Management, our strategic partner for the two-scale approach handover in the country. We are also gathered here today for the premiere of our documentary and for the launch of an interactive magazine that synthesizes the knowledge and experience the program has developed over the last 13 years. So the premiere of Food Soldiers, promoting food security in Africa, is not just a movie screening. It's more than that. It's a reflection of real-life experiences, of collective efforts, challenges, and successes over the past 13 years. When we came up with the title Food Soldiers, it was seen as a bit as a thought-provoking title, given the current geopolitical context the world is finding itself. But Food Soldiers symbolizes the dedication and relentless efforts of individuals and organizations combating food insecurity and enhancing food systems. It reflects their hard work, commitment, courage, and resilience in this critical fight, emphasizing that collective action is essential for meaningful change. Food soldiers are the champions in the ongoing fight for food security, and their efforts are vital in fostering resilience and sustainability within our community. So just as soldiers work together to achieve a common objective, these terms also underscore the importance of collaboration among various actors in the agricultural sector. By recognizing these individuals as food soldiers, we inspire others to join the fight for sustainable and inclusive food system, ensuring that access to nutritious food becomes a reality for all. It's important to recognize that today is not just about celebrating our successes, our accomplishments. It's about preparing for what comes next. We invite you today to use all the conversations, networking opportunities to spark ideas, foster collaboration, inspire actions beyond this event. To the media present in the room today, we thank you very much for being here, not just to report on the event, but to become part of the story. Your voices are essential in amplifying the lessons, the innovations, and the voices of our food soldiers present in the room and beyond, ensuring that this knowledge reach far beyond this room and support others in replicating and scaling what works. There is a saying in Africa that one hand cannot tie a bag. Many hands are needed to achieve this. I urge all of you today to join us in this mission. Together we can create a future where food security is a reality for all. Thank you very much.
We can do better with our applause, please. Thank you very much, Program Director to Scale, Madam Marina D. Bowman. That was lucid, rich, and emphatic. While we were having a remark, the MD Bank of Agriculture, Mr. Ayo Shotiri, came in. A round of applause for him. Thank you for joining us, sir. When we talk about two scale, what readily comes to mind? Anyone? Two scale. Anyone? Remember, my 1 Bitcoin is on the line. When we talk about two scale, what readily comes to mind? Anyone? Before we move on with the agenda. Anyways, we'll come to that later. But while she was, reading out that remark and, of course, explaining her points, she mentioned 5 key priorities. So I would like you to keep that in mind. And I'm serious about it. And, of course, she said the goal is to transition long-term driven impact. And that caught my attention for once. A round of applause again for her. She mentioned the documentary Food Soldiers. Very captivating title. For those that will be interested, it will be showing tonight, 8:30 p.m. on Channels Television, channel 420, that's on DSTV. And of course, on News Central tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m., channel 422. We should also keep in mind that it would air on Star Times, Sky, Evo TV, so we should do well to tune in. And for our media partners today, please kindly engage our conversations as we carry them forward from here. All right, then let's move to the next thing on the agenda, and that is a big one, trust me. That's from the Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands here in Lagos as he comes forward to give us his keynote address. Welcome, sir. A round of applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. A great honor and a great pleasure to be here this morning with you, and good to see so many people in the room and so many familiar faces, and so many people that I still need to know, but that I already respect tremendously because of the work that you are doing, that you have been doing, and that you are still going to continue to do. We all talk about agriculture and agribusiness as if it's something easy, and we all know that is not easy at all. We are here in a way, let's say, towards the end of this program, which could sort of give us an impression that it's a sad event, but it's actually not a sad event. It's an event where we celebrate what has been achieved up until now, and that has been so much. As it was mentioned, to scale is actually, at least definitely in my view, but I think also in the view of my colleagues back at the headquarters of the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, one of the flagship projects that we have in, for example, Nigeria, but also in 9 other countries. In 2 phases, 2012, 2018, 2019, 2024, just the numbers that we have: 50 million euros of public funds matched with 60 million euros of private sector development, Over 804,000 smallholder farmers engaged. 47% of those were women, 53 were youth. You're sitting in the room, you know who I talk about. I want to take a small step back to my own engagement with 2Scale. When I came to Nigeria in 2014, we were looking at the Dutch embassy of what we could do in agriculture, and then one of my colleagues said, but you know, we are already doing so much, it's called 2Scale. And then we engaged, we started to have discussions, and we started to visit also the different projects, the trial fields for horticultural seeds. And I remember a visit to Pampaida, Kaduna State, Tom Brown. That was really talking about nutrition. So how to make nutritious food out of groundnuts and then sell it, make a business out of it. Very impressed by the way in which that was managed. Obviously, it was managed by a woman. No further comment on that. That's the way to do things. That's the way to reach impact. We have also learned that. In between my postings in Nigeria, I spent 2 years in Juba, South Sudan, and surprised as I was to find 2Scale also there, in a country that only exists for 10 years, in a country where business is let's say, compared to Nigeria, on a very low, small level, but also there you could find 2Scale, and you could find 2Scale making that impact and assisting people. And as previous speakers also mentioned, you know, you can only learn from things that go wrong. If you start a project and you say it's wonderful, it's nice and rosy, it has achieved so many things, reached so many people, it's always like, okay, yeah, but what did you learn, and what could have been improved, or what could have been different? And I think from the different analysis, and the great thing with 2Scale is because it has been such a long-running program, it has been analyzed and evaluated, monitored. And there are, of course, different things that one can learn. I think one of the great things, and I say that in all humility as a civil servant, is that civil servants are not very good in designing projects, because they come up with these templates and say, you know, from the Netherlands, this is how we're going to help agribusiness on the African continent. And then the African continent has its own realities. So I think one of the advices and one of the lessons learned was definitely let the ideas, the plans, the focus come from those who work on ground, from those who work in the different areas, different states, different villages, different cities in agribusiness, because they know what the challenges are, what the problems are. And another lesson learned was definitely the business side of it. Focus on those who want to go in business. And that sometimes is a harsh lesson, not for you in the room, but for people who say, oh, but we should support the smallholder farmers. No, we should support the smallholder business people who want to scale up. The program is called 2Scale. There's a reason for that. You know, there's no joy in poverty. Let's be honest about it. There are a lot of farmers, the majority of people who we call in statistics farmers, are subsistence farmers. They don't farm because they want to create a bigger farm or a business or a company or be part of the value chain or have an influence on that. They farm because that's the option they have, and there are not many other options for them. And if you design a program that wants to lift up people, there is a group of people that can benefit from that, but not everyone. And that is sometimes, as I say, a harsh reality. You can't lift up everybody. You cannot bring along everybody. Not everybody is a business person. And we're talking here about agro-business. Nevertheless, so many people benefited from the program. So many people actually took that next step and created more business, and became an entrepreneur, became a better entrepreneur. And that is what we wanted to achieve. But sometimes when you look at the numbers, you say, okay, but do we really have 804,000 entrepreneurs? No, we don't. But I'm already happy if we have 800, because that will already change, in this case, the Nigerian agricultural landscape. Nigerian President Mr. Bola Tinubu announced a state of emergency with respect to food security and agriculture some years ago. That's an interesting statement, and unfortunately it's true, but the next step is to do something about it. And the great thing is that a program like 2Scale, already from its inception, was focused on doing something about that, on making sure that indeed there is an increase in production, an increase in nutrition, an increase in food production, but not just the production, all along the value chain, to make sure that all of the companies and the entities there, whether it's government, whether it's private sector, whether it's civil society, everybody in that chain is involved in that. But we need more. Obviously, we need more. Other problems that obviously everybody in this room is also facing is the insecurity, the commodity prices, the input prices, and the working capital. These are also things that we from the Dutch side are working on. The insecurity, that's a problem that we can't solve, unfortunately, but that obviously we are in discussions with those authorities. But all the other things are things that we look at, we work on, and we try to come up with solutions to also assist farmers. I'm very happy with the presence here of the Bank of Agriculture, because that's also part of the puzzle to assist farmers in the further development of their business. Now, 2Scale might sort of come to an end in the form and the shape that we know it, but the Dutch engagement with agriculture and with horticulture in Nigeria definitely does not come to an end. We also have representatives here from Horti Nigeria. The Horti Nigeria program is also focusing on similar things, but mostly in the horticulture sector. That means growing tomatoes. Because some people say horticulture is flowers. Yes, it could be, but in this case, it's tomatoes, fruits, vegetables. And then we will probably, in the new phase, in the new rounds of Dutch policy vis-à-vis Nigeria, also come up with a new program or an additional program that focuses on agriculture. Because agriculture, horticulture, basically the agricultural value chains are in the focus of the Dutch presence in Nigeria. It's an area where we have some knowledge, it's an area where we want to share that knowledge, it's an area where we want to focus in Nigeria to assist the country in its food security. It's not only food security, by the way, because that was the interesting thing that I saw when I was preparing for this event, that obviously sometimes it's also industrial use of agricultural products. Now, you might call that food security. I call that income generating activities. And the people behind the drawing board and always have an interesting thing in mind, that they say, okay, if you use your product in the industry, you gain a salary, you gain a revenue. From that revenue, you can buy better food. So, okay, yeah, that's also a way to look at food security, I guess. It doesn't matter, actually. It doesn't matter as long as production is professionalized, as long as production is going up, as long as you get a decent price for your product, as long as the line of the development of the agricultural sector is moving upwards. I keep on saying this: Nigeria needs a green revolution. And a revolution means you have to do something different from the way it was done before. And green obviously refers to the whole agricultural sector. And so far, it's going too slow, and it has to speed up. And I know that you are in the field and you have daily, you see how things are going. I hope you will agree with me. It should be more. It should be more professional, more efficient, mechanized, because the way things are going now, we will not get there. Anyway, having said that, let me end on a very positive note. The great thing about the two-scale program is that it's not just a program to assist, it's a program to collaborate, to cooperate, and not just to cooperate in Nigeria, to cooperate in all the countries where this program is running. And there have been different exchanges between countries, lessons learned, international seminars, and so on. And I hope that network, the network of which you all are part, will not cease to exist. That network, that community of people who have all that experience and all that knowledge on how to improve the agricultural sphere will continue, and that you will continue to meet, to talk, to discuss, and we will be here continuously to support you in your agricultural and business endeavors. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for Mr. Michel Delin. A round of applause, it can be better than that. It can be better than that. A round of applause for him. I'm just trying to switch my tone with the Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands and Lagos, Mr. Michel Delin. And one thing, struck, he said, there is no joy in poverty. Indeed, there is none. So we have to strive, using what we have to get what we want. While we are at that, before we quickly drop the synopsis for the documentary that we have here, of course, we'll be previewing that with you guys just in a bit. I was also thinking, there were days when certificates meant something, BSc this, accounting, BSc banking and finance. It's evolving now. In a few years from now, we'll be having BSc TikTok streaming, BSc political propaganda, that sort of thing. And all kinds of BSc on how to manage poor salaries. So it's going to be a lot. So we should expect, and phones, everything are changing rapidly. I'm hopeful that we would have taxis or cars that can fly in Lagos, so we can escape the traffic. But it's going to come at a price. But I'm sure we can all afford it. If they say, if you are moving from, let's say, island to mainland, pay 500,000 naira. I'm sure some of you would gladly, because of beating time. So let's just get straight to the synopsis, and then we'll take that documentary that we have for you, so that you can have an idea of what Two Scale has been up to in a very short while. Let me take the synopsis. It's going to be a very quick one, and then we'll stream that documentary. In the heart of Nigeria, a nation grappling with a deepening food insecurity crisis, Benson, a dedicated photojournalist and filmmaker, sets out to uncover the roots of this growing challenge. Why has hunger taken such a firm grip on Africa's most populous country? What forces have driven the staggering rise in food insecurity? And most importantly, what solutions are emerging from the ground up? As Benson journeys across rural landscapes and bustling markets, he discovers more than just the indication of a broken food system. He uncovers a movement rooted in collaboration. Farmers, entrepreneurs, agronomists, advisors, and agribusiness leaders are joining forces across different levels of the society. Their shared goal is to build resilient, inclusive, and sustainable food systems that uplift entire communities. But Benson's exploration doesn't end in Nigeria. As he travels to neighboring countries like Berlin and Mali, the story expands into a regional and universal narrative. Food security isn't just about agriculture. It's about people. It's about partnerships, local leadership, and the collective drive to nurture lasting change. This visually powerful and emotionally resonant documentary shines a light on the unsung heroes working every day to nourish their communities. It reveals how deep-rooted collaboration across sectors and across borders can plant the seeds for a more food-secure future. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take on the screening of the documentary Food Soldiers.
Country. I have traveled all over Nigeria for work, from the north to the south, with my camera capturing beautiful landscape and meeting incredible people. My name is Benson. I'm a photojournalist and my camera is my tool. Through it, I see the world, I see the pain, but also the strength of the people. I get to know them. We, Nigerians, are hard workers, you know. There is a Nigerian proverb that says, fine words do not produce food, and I think that it fits perfectly with us. But lately, I've realized that hard work alone isn't enough. Our country is struggling, and we are living on a time bomb.
Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu declares a state of emergency over food.
26.5 million Nigerians projected to be food insecure in 2024.
Experts fear Nigeria's food inflation could worsen hunger crisis.
Agriculture is our lifeblood, our main source of livelihood. But now, with continuous conflict, lack of security, kidnapping, inflation, and climate change, farmers are facing tough times. But if you know me a bit, you will know that I'm not one to focus on negativity. That's why I want to find solutions, to see if there's something possible to change this. Here, we are at one of the major markets in Lagos. I'm going to ask around to understand how this crisis is affecting people and to explore ways to support those working in various levels of food chain. So we are at the market. We're just asking for the prices of goods in the market. Things are becoming like a little bit expensive, not even a little bit, like a whole lot more expensive, more than 120% increase in the last few months, and it's quite, it's something, so talk about it.
The major challenge we normally get is the increase of the price. Like for instance now, I sent some money to that of a Yobe for them to buy beans for me. The last one I bought was at the rate of 112,000 naira per this size of bag. The price increased to 180. Because I cannot afford that amount based on how much I'm selling it here.
Price of goods and services continue getting higher.
Is this stressing you out personally?
Definitely.
How is this stressing you?
Because there's a decrease to the purchase power of our customers. Yes. Before, this thing like is 100,000. 95, but now it's 300,000, 290. So the thing is getting worse every day. The thing is increasing every day.
Yellow corn used to buy it 80,000. Now it's 105. 105. It's very, very stressful. Very, very stressful. We that are selling it, we are finding it difficult to buy. The customers are complaining. They used to buy, but the rate they are buying it is not the way they are buying it before. They're buying it less. Somebody that is buying one bag is now buying half bag.
Yes. This 2,250.
Like that.
2,250.
And before now, how much?
Before now, 2,000.
And you say you dey get this one from Kano?
Zaria.
Zaria.
And Zaria
Which
side.
one they come from Zaria?
This one come from Zaria. This one come from Kano.
That one come from Zaria. Oh, wow. I will go Zaria.
Okay.
I'll go as them.
Wow.
If I go Zaria, where make I go now? Make I give person for you.
Give person for me.
Thank you. Yeah.
So speaking with the people at the market was not easy. You know how Lagos is. Not everyone wanted to talk or share their struggles. It's difficult to reveal our insecurities. They couldn't point out exactly the reason behind the crisis, and neither a solution for that. But this motivates me even more. I want to discover if there is a way to achieve food security and pinpoint those who can help us achieve it. I promise to visit Zaria and Kano to find out what farmers are dealing with that impacts the prices for buyers and in turn consumers. To really understand what's going on, I need to start at the source. In my online search, I found out that Kano is one of the key areas in Nigeria for growing sorghum and maize, staple crops that have been a traditional food source for rural farmers in northern Nigeria for generations. That's where I'll go to get a closer look at what's happening on the ground. Currently, there is food crisis in the country. I've spoken to some market people and they say that maybe we should go and ask the farmers and maybe they can tell us what the issue is.
We cannot farm. The farm we used to farm with first is this bandit, seriously. We can't go there because of insecurities.
Yeah.
So that is the main
problem.
Then most of us, you see, we don't have enough income that we will be farming. That's the second reason.
The greatest challenges we have is lack of market for our produce.
Okay.
Because when we produce, there were no available buyers to buy from us. We lack of enough capitals to expand our farming activity or to carry out our farming activities. Then we have what you call insecurity problems. And then another challenge is because we are operating as individuals. And we know that operating individual does not give you synergy of effect. It is now good to come into group.
They are Marian Ahmad Mohammed and Pature Abdullahi. They are both involved in a sorghum partnership that has completely changed things for them and their entire community. So what is the situation now?
The situation now has changed.
Yeah.
You understand? Because through series of trainings, mobilizations, information sharings, we have changed that scenario. Now, we are already in a group now.
Yes.
We have formed different kind of cooperative society from different clusters. We have different clusters with different cooperative societies operating as a group. So we have that synergy.
This partnership was set up with the backing of 2Scale, a program that drives inclusive agribusiness projects. Thanks to the connection with 2 aggregators, they managed to increase the production of nutritious sorghum. Hi.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Before the farmers, they are working individually, which makes it more difficult for them to access input or access to credit, as well as access technical capacity building. Before, they were aggregating less than 15,000 metric tons annually, which is below their annual demand to the aggregators. But with this partnership, they've been able to achieve 35 to 40,000 metric tons per annum.
Before, I used to farm just, let me say, small farm, but now meeting aggregators, I farm 20, 30 bags.
Okay, of sorghum?
Yes.
White sorghum?
Yes.
These women now produce sorghum products, and they've been able to reach over 50,000 BOP consumers with nutritious sorghum products. They've been strengthened to support these aggregators in their warehouses to clean grains, thereby making daily income.
The aggregators used to give farmers input loan, and then you guys will pay back as grains. So have you received any of that loan as a woman?
Yes, I've received it. Like, let me give example with Nelmarco. They will give us input. After farming, then we'll give them the grains.
Okay.
That's how we used to do.
Do you give them all the grains? Or
No, not all. It depends on how they give us the fertilizer. So we are even begging them, it's not enough that they should add
more.
Yes, so that we can farm more, because it's only little of us that used to get it. So they should increase it so that we will be able to give more people, so that more people will be farming.
What we can do is the big question. What is the right path or a right path to move forward?
For any societal change, it starts from the ground up. And this community is a typical example of where societal change can start. Yeah, for me, one of the ways to achieve food security in the country is the adoption of the agribusiness cluster, and by providing cheaper inputs to these farmers and also introducing both on-farm, off-farm innovation. And another way we could do that also is introduction of weather forecast information so that the farmers can know the exact time, for instance, to apply fertilizer or to plant, so as to avoid drought and disaster on their farms.
So do you think this involving more farmers would help reduce this food crisis that we currently have in the country?
It will do that, because the more you scale up your productions, the more you have more food in the society.
Meeting the sorghum community was wonderful, and I captured many amazing photos. Seeing them benefit from their land is beautiful, but one question remains in my mind. Is empowering farmers enough to achieve food security? Bye-bye. What I have learned is that to achieve food security, many people need to be involved. It's like a big puzzle, and yes, farmers are a part of it. But they are just the beginning. They need to be motivated, engaged, and supported. However, the key is like putting together a puzzle, and I need to find the other pieces. And farmers, they do work with entrepreneurs. They play another important role. I have a name, Yemisi Ironloye. That's my next meeting. So I am here at Poultry Foods, and we're going to speak to Mrs. Yemisi Ironloye, aka the Cassava Queen. We want to know the role entrepreneurs are playing in this food crisis fight. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, ma. Good afternoon. So how is everything?
Fine, thank you.
When I was checking for Sultry, I saw that it was located way into like down Oyo State. So I was thinking like a big company like this will be located outside, like in a big city, in a big town. Tell us why did you choose this place?
The farmers naturally live in the hinterland. They live in the villages. And so we wanted to change the narrative of having farmers coming 300 kilometers to bring their produce to the city. And because we are using cassava as a raw material, cassava is a perishable product. So the factory has to come close to the farmers so that it reduces the burden the farmers go through in having to bring their raw material to the factories. We use cassava as our major raw material to produce starch, high quality cassava flour, sorbitol, and glucose. The model is an inclusive business model where farmers are in the center stage of the whole concept. And we started with 17 farmers, 3 female and 14 male. Today we are above 10,000 farmers that have been trained, that have been empowered, that have been assisted, that have been elevated from less than $1 a day to at least above $5 a day. Some of them are already in $10, but at least everyone have left the $1 a day minimum. So what we do here basically is we assist them, we train them with agronomic practices, we provide them with herbicides, we provide them with fertilizer, tractorization, so that they are able to use economic of scale to produce their cassava for us, and they can be able to make profit.
What are the challenges you faced coming here? Because this place is really remote.
We had to bring road everywhere. We had to bring power. We had to bring water. We have to bring every amenities, every infrastructure. And we also have to give the villages. We have to also give the farmers, because we can't be the only one having power. Basically, it's not been easy because we had to back the farmers. Back them, you know what I mean? Mean that we have to fund them. We have to, even when we take them to the bank, we have to provide them with guarantee because they don't have anything as collateral to give the bank to be able to get money to cultivate cassava for us. That's what we've chosen to do. So Two-Scale gave us a 3-year grant, and the grant was, they helped us to employ a top-notch agronomist and a rural extension agent who helped us to organize these farmers, structured the farmers, and help us to have the kind of foundation that we have, that we are building on today.
What makes you proud of this company?
I'm sure you can see.
Yes.
What drove me there is passion.
Yes.
It's the passion to impact life. Everybody is seeing that we need to change our thinking about agriculture. We've been able to show that it can be done if you want to do it. Yes, it's difficult, but can it be done? Yes, it can be done. And then the number of lives that is impacted, community that is impacted. We have 340 staff. All of them, 85% are young people below 35 years old. That's providing job opportunity for young people. And then we also have students that come in for training. That's providing know-how for students to learn. And just a source of inspiration to young people as well.
So can you tell me like the role entrepreneurs like you play in solving the food crisis in the country presently?
Yeah, now we are looking at doing about 5,000 hectares. Out of the 5,000 hectares, about 40% is supposed to go for food. That's the contract we have with farmers. 60% comes to us, 40% they use for gari or fufu. So for as long as we continue to engage farmers, at least we are also contributing food in some way to the society. And don't forget, what we produce is basically food. It's what is used in making the beverages we all drink, the noodles we all eat, the toothpaste that we all use to wash our mouths, or the bread and biscuit that we eat, the gluten-free product that we eat. So it's food that we're actually producing. And then we also give the farmers the opportunity to use 40% of what they produce for us for their own local food consumption, or to sell as gari or fufu in some way. So we are in the center stage of helping to reduce this food crisis.
So one more question, how that name came about, the Cassava Queen?
Honestly, I don't know. I just woke up one day and I saw friends sending me posts about cassava. I said, who? And I saw myself and I'm like, how? Well, the name stuck.
Speaking with Yemisi, I realized something that I have never realized before, the role of multinational corporations. Yemisi's company attracts customers like Nestle, Unilever, and Nigerian breweries, among others. And this is one of the reasons for her success. In my mind, and I know that it's an overly simplistic thought, big corporations are bad for our planet because of their impact on the environment. But I can see now that in this puzzle, they have a role, and without their role, this sustainable circuit doesn't work. One of the people I spoke with on the ground the other day told me something about that.
So, when you look at the chain from farm to factory and beyond that, you find out that there are several actors that play critical roles in driving food security in any value chain and in a particular food system and in the country. Aside from the business champion, we have the smallholder farmers, we have the financial institutions, we have the transporters, we have aggregators. Their job is to buy from the smallholder farmers. We also have business support service providers. So the list is limitless because it depends on the type of value chain you are dealing with.
What role multinational play in this?
They play a critical role because when you look at their share of the market in any particular value chain, is large, is huge. Their role is critical in driving an efficient value chain or an efficient food sector in the country. These companies are able to invest in large scale to make low-cost and nutritious food available in the food system.
How do you define all the actors that work towards ensuring food security?
Collectively, when I look at them, I see actors who are driving inclusive agribusiness relationships. I see them as soldiers of change because they go far beyond their business model to ensure that they give back to the communities.
And here I am, outside the Nestle headquarters in Lagos, where I will speak with someone from the communications office in Nestle to get their point of view on the matter. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning. I'm here to see Victoria Wadoka.
Sure, come.
All right.
Our purpose really is to unlock the power of food, to enhance quality of life for everyone today and for the generations to come. And to do that, we look at the ingredients that go into the production, and that's maybe where you'll see our engagement with farmers, suppliers, and aggregators and all of that. So from the farm to the table, what are we doing? Ensuring adequate nutrition for all life stages, produced sustainably and distributed sustainably as well. Food security is ensuring that we're able to feed ourselves today and we're able to feed ourselves tomorrow. That is food security at the end of the day. There is nothing else about food security. You talked about going to the market today and food is expensive. That is not food secure. That's not food secure because people are not going to be able to afford it. The farmers may not have enough income to plant the next season. And what are you doing? You're breaking down your food security value chain. You're breaking down your systems. You're not going to be able to feed your people. I was having a conversation with a friend and I said, oh, okay, the farmers are not able to go into the farms to produce. Which production? The food that we're importing. So Nigeria is importing food. How? When we have arable farmlands and all of that, and we have certain challenges, including security or insecurity, if you want to look at it like that, that is making it difficult for us to cultivate. So everything is tied together. Food security, security of the human life, access to the farmlands, access to the right seeds, and to get to the bottom of the value chain where the food reaches the table. And so we need to increase awareness. Like if we have 2 schools of agriculture in Nigeria at least, what are we doing? How are we really, exposing the young people to the opportunities that exist in agriculture? America was built through agriculture. The Netherlands is built through agriculture. Agriculture sustains a number of economies across the world where they have the opportunity.
I added people to this puzzle, but it is still incomplete. The path to food security is so long and is so complicated, but this is a path that is interesting to follow. Yes, I'm on a plane. That was a bit unexpected, but talking with people, I realized that this partnership between different actors, public and private, are a really good solution. I want to understand if this is a doable, replicable approach in other countries, even when there's a different context, different language, different background. So I'm visiting the neighbors. Hello, Mambi.
Hello, Benson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine too. To wish you welcome to Bamako.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you got.
Yeah.
By Translate.
By Translate.
Here, I met a couple of people. The one you just saw me speaking with is Mambi, an expert in nutritious food for the people at the base of the pyramid. And the partnership he's mentioning is Translate.
This partnership consists to improve the accessibility and availability milk to Mali and to facilitate accessibility for BOP market consumers.
And then there's Aminata, a marketing advisor that helped me understand why this job is really important.
Bon, actuellement, avec les crises qui se sont suivies, sinon avant, le pouvoir d'achat des Maliens n'est pas tellement propice pour pouvoir se procurer tous les jours du lait local. Mon rôle, c'est d'accompagner quotidiennement les transformatrices et les vendeuses de lait à avoir le marché. Et donc, on les aide aussi dans la transformation quotidienne. Les normes sécuritaires au Mali disent que chaque personne doit consommer 62,5 litres par an.
mais les consommateurs à faible revenu n'ont pas tellement le pouvoir d'achat pour pouvoir se procurer tous les jours des produits, laitiers surtout. Que l'on a mis un système en place, c'est-à-dire faire des produits pour les consommateurs à faible revenu. On a conditionné des petits packaging, c'est-à-dire les sachets de 100 francs, 50 francs pour les consommateurs à faible revenu. Donc maintenant, aujourd'hui, alhamdoulilah, il y a beaucoup de personnes quand même consomment le lait local. Et ça commence à rentrer dans les habitudes alimentaires des gens.
L'impact, il est grand. L'impact, il est grand parce que ce partenariat a permis non seulement de produire du lait de qualité et de cette production de lait de qualité, ça permettrait d'assurer de la nourriture pour la population de qualité. Parce qu'on sait que le lait est crucial pour la santé. Et ça a des vitamines, ça permet de renforcer les os, ça a plusieurs vertus. Nous avons pu rendre le lait très accessible. Avec 100 francs, 50 francs, 150, vous pouvez accéder à du lait de qualité qui est nutritif. Donc ça permet de lutter contre l'insécurité alimentaire.
Avant, la Translait n'était pas connue à Bamako. Il y avait peu de personnes qui connaissaient la Translait et nos points de vente. Mais avec l'avènement du partenariat, donc on a fait beaucoup de campagnes de sensibilisation et vraiment aujourd'hui la visibilité de la Translait est vraiment améliorée.
Aujourd'hui, il y a beaucoup de femmes qui, grâce au partenariat, ont eu un emploi et des emplois de l'auto-emploi. Par exemple, si je prends le cas de ces kiosques chez Mme Menta, c'est son business à elle. Elle est indépendante. Et c'est grâce à ce partenariat qu'elle a pu avoir cela.
Aujourd'hui, l'inclusivité au sein de notre société est vraiment importante. Avant, la production, c'était uniquement limité au niveau des hommes. Mais aujourd'hui, il y a des femmes productrices de lait qui sont à plus de 200 litres de collecte au niveau de leur parc aujourd'hui. Sinon, avant, dans les coutumes, la femme ne faisait pas la production. La femme se limitait seulement à la vente. Avant, les femmes, quand tu faisais rien dans les familles, on ne te respecte même pas. Mais aujourd'hui, on ne te respecte pas quand tu n'as pas quand tu n'as pas de revenus. Mais aujourd'hui, vraiment, les transformatrices, elles arrivent vraiment à s'imposer, même dans la prise de décision au sein de leur famille. Et elles ont été tellement formées qu'aujourd'hui, elles sont capables même d'aller chercher des financements elles-mêmes auprès des institutions financières, sans même l'accompagnement des coachs. Donc aujourd'hui, je suis vraiment fière de ce que les femmes font.
Mali is just another country, but this idea of putting people together at different levels to push farmers to understand their financial potential, to direct businesses to take a step forward, and to have a group of experts is something that can be done everywhere. This is why I'm going to call a person in Benin. Benin wasn't classified as a country facing a food crisis this year, but many people there are still dealing with high levels of acute food insecurity. This is a good example of why food security needs to be addressed simultaneously in multiple parts of the world if we want to achieve real change in the society. Good afternoon, Nina.
Good afternoon, Benson.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine. She is Nina, and she works in a partnership called Promo Fruits, which was initially established with the help of 2Scale, but now operates independently, thanks to the capacity built on the ground. As a coach, she demonstrates another role that is fundamental in empowering farmers.
En tant que coach à Promo Fruits, d'abord nous avons des formations que nous faisons en salle. C'est des formations théoriques sur des thématiques données. Et après ces formations, nous allons maintenant mettre en pratique sur le terrain. Et au niveau des producteurs, nous avons des champs, écoles d'abord. On coordonne, il y a les formations que nous donnons, il y a aussi le faire. C'est-à-dire, ça ne suffit pas de donner la formation, mais nous amenons les producteurs à mettre en pratique tout ce que nous donnons comme package techniquement. Donc, et après ça, tout ce qui concerne la matière première, tout ce qui concerne l'application en intrants, des intrants, tout ce qui concerne ce que le producteur doit faire de façon technique sur le champ et ce qu'il doit recevoir comme connaissance de façon technique pour améliorer sa production, afin de quitter ce qu'il faisait comme pratique paysanne et venir maintenant recevoir ce qui est comme de façon technique pour améliorer aussi sa production et ses conditions de vie. Voilà.
What is the impact of this partnership on the ground and who is benefiting from this?
Et l'impact de ce partenariat, je pense que c'est au niveau de tout, ça s'est ressenti au niveau de toute la chaîne. C'est-à-dire tous les acteurs, tous les maillons de la chaîne là ont été impactés positivement. Quand je prends l'exemple des producteurs par exemple, la qualité, parce qu'il ne suffit pas d'apporter la matière première à Promofruit. Il faut la matière première de qualité et en quantité suffisante.
I saw a lot of differences on the ground, but mainly I saw things in common. I heard people talking about food, and I got emotional about what they said. It doesn't matter their role or their way of delivering their message. Food is something that makes us all united.
Food is one of the essential services or basic needs that we as human beings cannot do without.
Pour moi, la nourriture, l'alimentation, c'est la vie parce que sans nourriture, il n'y a pas de vie. C'est ce qui permet d'alimenter nos cellules et qu'on puisse faire ce que nous faisons qui fait que nous restons en vie. Sans nourriture, pas de vie.
There is one thing to fill the belly with what is available. There is one thing to eat food. Food nourishes, food builds, food sustains. It has to be nutritious. That means it has to feed your cells.
L'aliment veut dire pour moi c'est une source de vie. Quand on n'est pas alimenté, on ne peut pas vivre. Sans l'aliment, on ne peut pas vivre.
All the people on the ground seem to have reached the same conclusion. The entire chain has to work together. Without creating partnership, there is no future. And these partnerships need to find their solid base in a sustainable business model. Businesses could drive our agriculture. Change, doesn't happen overnight. It's a long process. Many people are involved in this process, but they don't have to stay involved forever. There are mediators and NGOs that can support, but what I learned is that they are just the initial push. If we want to win this fight for food security, this should be our fight. The fight for the people, not the organizations. The more I look at this board I created, the more I understand what Maxwell said. He called his business champions food soldiers. And there's something poetic about that. This puzzle I put together is complex and unfinished, but it's indeed full of food soldiers. Each of them can be defined this way, and there are so many more out there. They are all fighting for something big, something communal, something good. I don't know if a solution for food security exists, but I know that if it does, it lies with the people and in the collaboration between them. We are the change. Whether we will win, I don't know yet, but I have great hope in the people. So let's keep fighting.
Journalist and videographer Benson for giving us that bird-eye view. What a work that was. A round of applause again for him. And of course, let's take time to appreciate 2Scale for bringing us into the fullness of that view. So that we all I can be sure that we were carried along, about the documentary. Let me engage one or two persons. We keep fighting. That's what Benson said at the end. We have to keep fighting so that there will be, if we look at the inclusive business done by 2Scale, you understand how large that work has been. So I will engage a few persons here. I want to know what message stuck with you from that documentary. Can you tell us your name and just quickly, sir?
It's the morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ebenezer, the Commissioner for Agribusiness State. Tenacity. think that's what I can see there. From every food soldier that spoke, I can see tenacity.
Tenacity. A round of applause for the commissioner. He said tenacity. That's one thing that stuck with him from that documentary. Let me go to my sister here. Can you tell us if there's... Sorry for putting you on the spot. It's fine. Okay. Your name and what stuck with you from the documentary.
My name is Atinu Kelebele. Two things from the video is inclusiveness of everybody in the value chain, and also everyone is being resilient, even despite the challenges. All the farmers keep going.
Thank you very much. A round of applause from her. I'm sure some people will be like, don't come near me, please, please. Okay, let me see. Mini more. All right, let me take it to the country director before I bring you on stage. The team lead rather for Two Scale. Sorry, I don't want to take your job. Just tell us what caught your attention from that documentary. I know you know a whole lot, and you are going to tell us, how Two Scale is impacting Africa and Nigeria. But one word, or perhaps a sentence.
For me, it's the level of collaboration. Collaboration is key. Working together as a team, as a group, is the main reason why we see changes happening in the food sector in Nigeria. Thank you.
My God, look at that voice. That voice would be good, I'm sorry, but I mean, imagine this guy showing up at night in the dark and say, bring your phone. They don't burn you now. You dey joke. You go submit the phone. Normal. All right, thank you very much, team lead for Two Scale. And of course, for those that were thinking I'll come to you, you are safe now. You are safe. You are safe. All right then, we'll move straight to the next thing on the agenda. And just like I rightly pointed out, I'm bringing on stage to the podium here the man who will tell us how the impact, of Two Scale has been so far, not just in Nigeria, but of course in Africa. And of course, just like we saw from the documentary, there's a whole lot that's been done in terms of inclusivity, with PPPs and all of that. Businesses who are trying, not just trying, but doing great stuff. And so it's my pleasure and privilege to bring to the podium here country team leader Nigeria, Two Scale, of course, the country team lead, Olitza Maxwell. A round of applause for him.
After what you said, I was thinking if I should change my voice. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. Standing on existing protocol. I want to quickly highlight what Two Scale is about. My program director has already given a summary of the Two Scale program in her keynote, welcome address. My role here is to take us through the achievements, the numbers, especially zooming into our activities in Nigeria. The program, we believe that we are the largest incubator and accelerator of inclusive agribusiness in sub-Saharan Africa. And working with partners we call business champions, we are able to impact actors along selected value chains down to the grassroots actors, the smallholder farmers. Leveraging the expertise, experience, and capacity of 3 developmental partners, including Base of the Pyramid Innovation Center, BOPINC, the International Fertilizer Development Center, IFDC, and the Dutch International Development Organization, SNV. These partners are the implementers of Two Scale from this phase of the program, 2019 till date. And of course, the program is funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, DGIS. The Two Scale approach has 4 pillars. And the first one is leadership of
the inclusive business champion. What this means is we don't lead as a program, we facilitate. The businesses and their business models that are inclusive, they stand in front while we support from the back. As a program, the program was built with a deliberate intention of not providing subsidies. When Marina was on stage, and also when the Consulate General was on stage, they emphasized this. It has to be business. Whatever we are doing, whatever we are investing in must make business sense. The next pillar is the agribusiness cluster, smallholder farmers and their local network. In the documentary we watched, we saw John Paul Chime, the inclusive agribusiness advisor, saying if we want to make meaningful change in the society, we have to do it from the ground up. Therefore, the program focused more on working with smallholder farmers and their local networks. Value chain strengthening, especially connecting to the base of the pyramid markets, consumers with low income. And last but not the least is institutional and business environment. How do we enable this institution? That is why when Johnson was moving from state to state, local government to local government, and country to country, all the value chains he visited, you will see they did not just include the business champion and the farmers only. You see aggregators, you see extension service providers, you see financial institutions. You need all these actors in order to make the environment enabling and also to coordinate and connect each and every one of these actors together. So it's a limitless number of actors depending on the need of that particular value chain. The three values that has shaped the program is commercial viability. The business cases and the business models must go to market. There's no white elephant here. That's why we incubate, do all the iteration and all the changes we need to do before we begin to scale, to accelerate towards scaling. The second value is empowerment. This is key. We deliberately assess each value chain, see where the gaps are, and try to tailor-make capacity building activities in order to improve the capacity of all the actors to ensure that they function the right way. Last but not the least is ownership. Ownership for us as a program entails the ownership of the reward, the risk, and everything that comes in that value chain. They should be shared among actors. So the business champion does not just buy from farmers and ignore the risks that comes from planting, impact of climate change, and all of that. They also invest to make sure that the farmers are secure, insurance is provided through the insurance service provider to ensure the risk is managed and well distributed. So these three core values are the values that has shaped the approach of two-scale and that has made the program successful. These are the 4 food sectors that we have focused on. When you talk about food security in Africa, majority of what we consume, you find them in these 4 food sectors: dairy and animal protein, staple crops, fresh produce, and oil seed. And all the business champions we have worked with in Nigeria, about 21 of them were all selected from these 4 food sectors. How does two-scale work? Like I mentioned earlier, we start with the business champions. These business champions could be lead firms. We saw Nestle in the documentary. Could be, I don't know if I should call Sultry an SME now. I think Sultry is a lead firm. Could be Sultry, could be Farmer Cooperative, could be MSMEs. Depending on their business idea, we work with everyone regardless of the size. So they open the door. We start with them, and using backward integration, we connect to the actors up the value chain and down the value chain depending on the food product they are offering to the market. So we use the public-private partnership approach as the umbrella to implement our activities. The partnership is not an end to itself, but it's a means to an end. This partnership approach brings all the actors together under one umbrella, shared vision, because they will co-create the activities to be implemented for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, depending on the lifespan of the partnership. And like I said before, two-scale is not on the driving seat, but we sit back and we facilitate. The business champion is the leader of the value chain, and so he shares those responsibilities with all the other actors in the value chain. Last but not the least, through collaboration with the business support service providers, we are able to influence and conduct and carry out value chain development activities, improve the core and supplier value chains, and also form and develop agribusiness clusters. This is at the heart of the two-scale approach. In Africa, we are currently in this phase of the program, two-scale implemented activities in 10 countries, but generally from phase 1 to phase 2, we have been active in 15 countries, in West Africa, East Africa, and also in the MENA region. We have used over 70 public-private partnerships across these 10 countries with a total value of more than 65 million euros. Now, this 65 million euros is the funds coming from the public side, and this public side is represented by the taxpayers of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And at this junction, I want to say thank you to DGIS for including Nigeria in this. Our main intervention areas in the last 12 years has really focused on these 8 key thematic areas and connected to the different levels in the value chain, starting with the base of the pyramid: marketing and distribution, supply chain coordination, financial inclusion, agribusiness clusters, youth inclusion, gender equality and women economic empowerment, loyalty, and supply chain coordination. These have been the thematic areas that we have been able to use to drive the implementation of the business problems that comes from the business champion and the value chain actors in order to find and implement what we call business as unusual towards ensuring food and nutrition security. In terms of impact, the first phase of two-scale for us was what we call, or what we have termed, the pilot phase, the proof of concept phase, where we were trying to prove that this approach works. And from 2012 to 2018, in Nigeria particularly, these were the numbers. We reached 88,000 smallholder farmers, including 34% women, 621 SME and POs, including 18% women. 3 pilot BOP products were developed. The Consul General mentioned earlier in his keynote address the soya blend. There were also the soya kebab in Kwara State, also by Women Cooperative, and also we worked with AC Food during that first phase to develop spice product, which are vegetables produced in Kaduna, transported to the factory around Lagos, which was processed into spice product that AC Food is selling at the moment. We use about 10 partnerships with different actors to achieve these numbers. And last but not the least, in terms of private sector contribution, it's a public-private partnership. We don't just implement using the funds coming from DGIS and from the taxpayers in the Kingdom of the Netherlands, but we also leverage using this fund to ensure that the private sector actors co-invest in the value chain. And in the first phase, that co-investment in Nigeria was about 7 million euros. In the second phase, which we term the acceleration and innovation phase, in this phase, the scope of the program and the targets we wanted to reach was increased. And we looked at smallholder farmers. We had a target of reaching 166,000, but we were able to do 133,000. When we say reaching smallholder farmers, we here are not talking about training. We are not talking about capacity building. It's part of it. But for us as a program, reaching smallholder farmers is actually connecting them to a market driven by the business champion, ensuring that they supply the business champion in a fair and transparent transaction. Otherwise, we have not reached them. And we look at the BOP markets as well. About 470,000 BOP consumers were reached in this case, and 3,000 MSMEs were empowered. Number of partnerships in the phase 2, new partnership was 11. And we also puts about 95,000 hectares under eco-efficient production. Jobs were also created for youth, for young people, off-farm job in this case, not on-farm job. Job at the factories of the business champions, youth as spray service providers, youth as extension service providers, youth as aggregators, youth as mechanization service providers, you name them. The value of private sector contribution in the second phase was about 35 million euros. Businesses, business champions we worked with, financial institutions we worked with, the smallholder farmers themselves also contributed. It is not just coming from the lead champion. Every actor in the value chain, one way or another, invested in the activity, and we're able to capture this and document this over the last 5-6 years of implementation in Nigeria. Last but not the least is additional financial services accessed by the actors in the value chain. And when we talk about additional financial services, we're talking about the connection of these actors to banks, lending organizations, financial service providers, payment systems, and in total, we're able to reach around 17.2 million euros. These include credit from the bank. As you know, financial services is not just about credit from the bank, it's a whole lot of things. So this is just a list of the partners who have made this possible. In the dairy and animal protein, I'd like to call out Frisian Campina Wamco, Nestle. In the oilseed sector, Ladi and Lawani Foods. In the groundnut value chain, Okomu in the oil palm sector, New Era Youth Farmers Cooperative, the Kwara Youth in Kwara, growing soybean. In the fresh food sector, Taste Food, in the onion value chain, Royal Blue Contractors, in the horticulture value chain, especially focusing on seeds and fertilizer inputs, VDNS, a vegetable seed trader also based here in Lagos, AC Food, vegetable processor, East West Seed, SPAR. In the staple food sector, which is the largest sector we have as a program, and especially in Nigeria, we have Adefunke Dash, based in Zaria, grain aggregator connected to several grain millers in the country. Namako in the same sector. Cattle Foods in the cassava sector focus on processing biofortified cassava. We also have Afex. We have Crystal Dominion Food in the plantain sector. Miva Rice in Benue State. Sultry International in Oyo State, and Promise Point. These are the companies that has made it possible for us to gather each and every one of you here today to talk about food soldiers. These and the network of partners they have in the value chain, they drive and they lead, are the food soldiers we are talking about. Thank you.
How about that? A round of applause for him again. Two-scale country team leader Olitza Maxwell. Thank you for that very rich and profound breakdown of what you are able to do. Again, thank you so much, country team leader, Two-Scale, for breaking all of that down. And I guess you were able to get everyone's attention, because I was also looking and I saw that the attention was rapt. You were mentioning numbers, 65 million euros. You didn't mention Naira. Why? 7 million euros, all of that. I'm sure if I give someone 6 billion Naira or 65 million euros, which would you take? 65 million. Why? No, I'm saying if I give you 65 million euros, or take one, 6 billion Naira or 65 million euros, which would you take? You are not a patriotic man. No, I'm just saying, just a joke anyways. Anyways, so let's move on quickly as we can. All right, let me quickly recognize one person here who is seated among us before we go to the next thing on the agenda. We have the Senior Agricultural Policy Advisor, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Oluwaseun Ojambati. I hope I got that right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. Please, can we reflect, thank you very much. This is what I wanted to say. For those of us who would want to go over that again, the documentary, please, can you put it on the screen? The documentary will be running tonight again so that we can enjoy it even better. Food Soldiers on channel 420, DSTV, that's Channels Television. And of course, channel 422, News Central, tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. And it will run on some other platforms, of course. You can check that on the flyer there. All right, it's time now to bring to mind before our panel session. I'm sure that a lot of us were anticipating that session, and I tell you, it's something you have to whet your appetite for because it's going to be explosive. I have here representing the club leader, Institute of Agribusiness Management in Nigeria, IAMN, learning from practice. I have someone here to deliver on behalf of the leader there, Dr. Ayo Olorunfemi, on behalf of the Institute of Agribusiness Management Nigeria, Inclusive Agribusiness Club leader. He's standing in and is here to tell us something. Can we make welcome? Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, partners, colleagues, and champions of inclusive agribusiness. I bring you warm greetings from the Institute of Agribusiness Management Nigeria, IAMN, which is Nigeria's foremost professional body and community of practice dedicated to advancing agribusiness knowledge, standards, and enterprise development. Make that round of applause much louder, please. Thank you. And of course, it's both an honor and a responsibility for me to stand here today on this historic platform as we begin to draw the curtain on one of the most transformational programs in the Nigerian agribusiness landscape, that is 2Scale. For over a decade, 2Scale has shown that businesses can create real social value while remaining commercially successful. That is doing good and doing well at the same time. And that is how nation rises, where everyone has a fair chance to thrive. And through various partnerships that supported smallholder farmers, its support for women and youth-led agribusinesses, and its embrace of the base of the pyramid market strategy, 2Scale has set the gold standard for inclusive agribusiness practice and model in Africa. And as 2Scale formally closes, we want to assure you that its ideals are not ending. They are actually entering a new phase. And IAMN is proud to be one of the key institutions committed to carrying that torch forward. I'm just going to give us a brief insight into what we have done so far since we signed a partnership with 2Scale in May 2023. We have been able to establish the Inclusive Agribusiness Club, which has now become a national platform that would sustain inclusive practices within the Nigerian agribusiness ecosystem. We have been able to conduct about 3 regional workshops for agribusiness professionals in Abuja, in Lagos, and in Port Harcourt, where we introduce them to inclusive business thinking, BOP approaches, and value chain inclusion strategies. We have also been able to set up inclusive agribusiness as a module on MBA programs in 2 institutions currently. Alice University, one of the leading private universities in Nigeria, now has inclusive agribusiness as one of the modules on the MBA program in international agribusiness and food chain management. And just recently, thank you. And just recently, we have also introduced inclusive agribusiness as a module to Bayero University, Dangote Business School. Now their MBA agribusiness will now offer inclusive agribusiness as one of the modules. So those are the 2 pilots for now. The plan is to scale this module across major tertiary institutions in Nigeria where MBA agribusiness is being offered. And there's actually a whole lot. We also have a research group that is focusing on inclusive agribusiness. And one of our early success story is Victoria Madedo, who has just completed her doctoral studies focused on data obtained from TwoScale, and the thesis is going to be presented, I think, towards the end of the month at Leeds City University. So going forward, what we are building, one of the things we are doing is to launch a business compliance certification mark, which we are calling Inclusive Agribusiness Certified, IAC. And this will recognize and reward businesses that adopt inclusive value chain practices, such as smallholder sourcing, gender balance, youth engagement, BOP markets, not just in intention, but in structure. We are currently developing the standards, the audit systems, and the compliance frameworks for that certification mark. So think of it like your fair trade, your Rainforest Alliance certification. So this certification will open market doors to boost investors' confidence and validate that inclusive business is not just possible, it is sustainable, it is credible, and it is scalable. We intend to partner financial institutions, regulatory bodies in creating a reward system for this certification. So if your business is adopting inclusive practices, there will be some form of reward system for you. We are also, in a short while, hosting a 2-day national workshop for heads of agribusiness programs across Nigerian tertiary institutions. And the goal is to mainstream inclusive agribusiness education in Nigeria. We are also organizing a 1-day regional workshop in Uyo and Kaduna State to equip agribusiness practitioners with inclusive business models. All of these frameworks and toolkits we are inheriting from TwoScale. And also, we are planning a national conference on inclusive agribusiness in Abuja, where policymakers, funders, and industry leaders will shape a national vision around inclusion. So our commitment is to preserve TwoScale's legacy and also to build on it. We see a future where inclusion in business practice is no longer a project, it becomes a norm. Universities will teach it, businesses will practice it, communities will benefit from it, and the certification system will reward it. So in conclusion, as TwoScale transition, IAMN is here to sustain the movement that has started. So to our community of practice, we say, let's keep building, let's keep including, and let's keep transforming. The focus of agribusiness practice in Nigeria, and indeed across sub-Saharan Africa, should not just be commercial. It must be intentionally inclusive, because agriculture holds the single greatest potential to lift millions out of poverty, create decent jobs, and restore dignity to rural livelihoods. And that transformation must begin now. Thank you very much for listening.
producteurs. Tous les maillons de la chaîne là ont été impactés positivement. Quand je prends l'exemple des producteurs, par exemple, la qualité, parce qu'il ne suffit pas d'apporter la matière première à Promofruit. Il faut la matière première.
I love my country. I've traveled all over Nigeria for work, from the north to the south, with my camera capturing beautiful landscape and meeting incredible people. My name is Benson. I'm a photojournalist and my camera is my tool. Through it, I see the world, I see the pain, but also the strength of the people. I get to know them. We, Nigerians, are hard workers, you know. There is a Nigerian proverb that says, fine words do not produce food, and I think that it fits perfectly with us. But lately, I've realized that hard work alone isn't enough. Our country is struggling, and we are living on a time bomb.
Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu declares a state of emergency over food.
26.5 million Nigerians projected to be food insecure in 2024.
Experts fear Nigeria's food inflation could worsen hunger crisis.
Agriculture is our lifeblood, our main source of livelihood. But now, with continuous conflict, lack of security, kidnapping, inflation, and climate change, farmers are facing tough times. But if you know me a bit, you will know that I'm not one to focus on negativity. That's why I want to find solutions, to see if there's something possible to change this. Here, we are at one of the major markets in Lagos. I'm going to ask around to understand how this crisis is affecting people and to explore ways to support those working in various levels of food chain. So we are at the market. We're just asking for the prices of goods in the market. Things are becoming like a little bit expensive, not even a little bit, like a whole lot more expensive, more than 120% increase in the last few months, and it's quite, it's something, so talk about it. The major challenge we normally get is the increase of the price. Like for instance now, I sent some money to that of a Yobe for them to buy beans for me. The last one I bought was at the rate of 112,000 naira per this size of bag. The price increased to 180. Because I cannot afford that amount based on how much I'm selling it here.
Price of goods and services continue getting higher.
Is this stressing you out personally?
Definitely.
How is this stressing you?
Because there's a decrease to the purchase power of our customers. Yes. Before this thing like it's 100,000. 95, but now it's 300,000, 290. So the thing is getting worse every day. The thing is increasing every day.
Yellow corn used to buy it 80,000. Now it's 105. 105. It's very, very stressful. Very, very stressful. We that are selling it, we are finding it difficult to buy. The customers are complaining. They used to buy, but the rate they are buying it is not the way they are buying it before. They're buying it less. Somebody that is buying one bag is now buying half bag.
Yes. This is 2,250.
Like that?
2,250.
And before now, how much?
Before now, 2,000.
And you say you get this one from Kano?
Zaria.
Zaria.
Which
one they come from Zaria?
This one come from Zaria. This one come from Kano.
That one come from Zaria? Oh, wow. I will go Zaria.
Okay.
I'll go as them.
Wow.
If I go Zaria, where make I go now? Make I give person for you?
Give person for me.
Thank you. Yeah. So speaking with the people at the market was not easy. You know how Lagos is. Not everyone wanted to talk or share their struggles. It's difficult to reveal our insecurities. They couldn't point out exactly the reason behind the crisis, and neither a solution for that. But this motivates me even more. I want to discover if there is a way to achieve food security and pinpoint those who can help us achieve it. I promise to visit Zaria and Kano to find out what farmers are dealing with that impacts the prices for buyers and in turn consumers. To really understand what's going on, I need to start at the source. In my online search, I found out that Kano is one of the key areas in Nigeria for growing sorghum and maize, staple crops that have been a traditional food source for rural farmers in northern Nigeria for generations. That's where I'll go to get a closer look at what's happening on the ground. Currently, there is food crisis in the country. I've spoken to some market people and they say that maybe we should go and ask the farmers and maybe they can tell us what the issue is.
We cannot farm. The farm we used to farm with first is this bandit, seriously. We can't go there because of insecurities.
Yeah.
So that is the main
problem.
Then most of us, you see, we don't have enough income that we will be farming. That's the second reason.
The greatest challenges we have is lack of market for our produce.
Okay.
Because when we produce, there were no available buyers to buy from us. We lack of enough capitals to expand our farming activity or to carry out our farming activities. Then we have what you call insecurity problems. And then another challenge is because we are operating as individuals. And we know that operating individuals does not give a synergy of effect. It is now good to come into group.
They are Marian Ahmad Mohammed and Bature Abdullahi. They are both involved in a sorghum partnership that has completely changed things for them and their entire community. So what is the situation now?
The situation now has changed.
Yeah.
You understand? Because through series of trainings, mobilizations, information sharings, we have changed that scenario. Now, we are already in a group now.
Yes.
We have formed different kind of cooperative society from different clusters. We have different clusters with different cooperative societies operating as a group. So we have that synergy.
This partnership was set up with the backing of 2Scale, a program that drives inclusive agribusiness projects. Thanks to the connection with two aggregators, they managed to increase the production of nutritious sorghum. Hi,
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Before the farmers, they are working individually, which makes it more difficult for them to access input or access to credit, as well as access technical capacity building. Before, they were aggregating less than 15,000 metric tons annually, which is below their annual demand to their aggregators. But with this partnership, they've been able to achieve 35 to 40,000 metric tons per annum.
Before, I used to farm just, let me say, small farm, but now meeting aggregators, I farm 20, 30 bags.
Okay, of sorghum?
Yes.
White sorghum?
Yes.
These women now produce sorghum products, and they've been able to reach over 50,000 BOP consumers with nutritious sorghum products. They've been strengthened to support these aggregators in their warehouses to clean grains, thereby making daily income.
The aggregators used to give farmers input loan, and then you guys will pay back as grains. So have you received any of that loan as a woman?
Yes, I've received it. Like, let me give example with Nelmarco. They will give us input after farming, then we'll give them the grains. Okay. That's how we used to do.
Do you give them all the grains? Or
no, not all. It depends on how they give us the fertilizer. So we are even begging them, it's not enough that they should add
more.
Yes, so that we can farm more, because it's only little of us that used to get it. So they should increase it so that we will be able to give more people, so that more people will be farming.
What we can do is the big question. What is the right path, or a right path to move forward?
For any societal change, it starts from the ground up. And this community is a typical example of where societal change can start. Yeah, for me, one of the ways to achieve food security in the country is the adoption of the agribusiness cluster, and by providing cheaper inputs to these farmers and also introducing both on-farm, off-farm innovation. And another way we could do that also is introduction of weather forecast information so that the farmers can know the exact time, for instance, to apply fertilizer or to plant so as to avoid drought and disaster on their farms.
So do you think this involving more farmers would help reduce this food crisis that we currently have in the country?
It will do that because the more you scale up your productions, the more you have more food in the society.
Meeting the sorghum community was wonderful, and I captured many amazing photos. Seeing them benefit from their land is beautiful, but one question remains in my mind. Is empowering farmers enough to achieve food security? Bye-bye. What I have learned is that to achieve food security, many people need to be involved. It's like a big puzzle, and yes, farmers are a part of it. But they are just the beginning. They need to be motivated, engaged, and supported. However, the key is like putting together a puzzle, and I need to find the other pieces. And farmers, they do work with entrepreneurs. They play another important role. I have a name, Yemisi Ironloye. That's my next meeting. So I am here at Poultry Foods, and we're going to speak to Mrs. Yemisi Ironloye, aka the Cassava Queen. We want to know the role entrepreneurs are playing in this food crisis fight. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, ma. Good afternoon. So how is everything?
Fine, thank you.
When I was checking for Sultry, I saw that it was located way into like down Oyo State. So I was thinking like a big company like this will be located outside, you know, like in a big city, in a big town. Tell us why did you choose this place?
You know, the farmers naturally live in the hinterland, they live in the villages. And so we wanted to change the narrative of having farmers coming 300 kilometers to bring their produce to the city. And because we are using cassava as a raw material, cassava is a perishable product. So the factory has to come close to the farmers so that it reduces the burden the farmers go through in having to bring their raw material to the factories. We use cassava as our major raw material to produce starch, high quality cassava flour, sorbitol, and glucose. The model is an inclusive business model where farmers are in the center stage of the whole concept. And we started with 17 farmers, 3 female and 14 male. Today we are above 10,000 farmers that have been trained, that have been empowered, that have been assisted, that have been elevated from less than $1 a day to at least above $5 a day. Some of them are already in $10, but at least everyone have left the $1 a day minimum. So what we do here basically is we assist them, we train them with agronomic practices, we provide them with herbicides, we provide them with fertilizer, tractorization, so that they are able to use economic of scale to produce their cassava for us, and they can be able to make profit.
What are the challenges you faced coming here? Because this place is really remote.
We had to bring road, we had to bring power, we had to bring water, we have to bring every amenities, every infrastructure. And we also have to give the villages. We have to also give the farmers, because we can't be the only one having power. Basically, it's not been easy because we had to back the farmers. Back them, you know what I mean? Mean that we have to fund them. We have to, even when we take them to the bank, we have to provide them with guarantee, because they don't have anything as collateral to give the bank to be able to get money to cultivate cassava for us. That's what we've chosen to do. So Two-Scale gave us a 3 years grant, and the grant was, they helped us to employ a top-notch agronomist and a rural extension agent who helped us to organize these farmers, structured the farmers, and help us to have the kind of foundation that we have, that we are building on today.
What makes you proud of this company?
I'm sure you can see.
Yes.
What drove me here is passion.
Yes.
It's the passion to impact life. Everybody is seeing that we need to change our thinking about agriculture. We've been able to show that it can be done if you want to do it. Yes, it's difficult, but can it be done? Yes, it can be done. And then the number of lives that is impacted, community that is impacted. We have 340 staff. All of them, 85% are young people below 35 years old. That's providing job opportunity for young people. And then we also have students that come in for training. That's providing know-how for students to learn. And just a source of inspiration to young people as well.
So can you tell me like the role entrepreneurs like you play in solving the food crisis in the country presently?
Yeah, now we are looking at doing about 5,000 hectares. Out of the 5,000 hectares, about 40% is supposed to go for food. That's the contract we have with farmers. 60% comes to us, 40% they use for gari or fufu. So for as long as we continue to engage farmers, at least we are also contributing food in some way to the society. And don't forget, what we produce is basically food. It's what is used in making the beverages we all drink, the noodles we all eat, the toothpaste that we all use to wash our mouths, or the bread and biscuit that we eat, the gluten-free product that we eat. So it's food that we're actually producing. And then we also give the farmers the opportunity to use 40% of what they produce for us for their own local food consumption, or to sell as gari or fufu in some way. So we are in the center stage of helping to reduce this food crisis.
So one more question, how that name came about, the Cassava Queen?
Honestly, I don't know. I just woke up one day and I saw friends sending me posts about cassava. I said, who? And I saw myself and I'm like, how? Well, the name stuck.
Speaking with Yemisi, I realized something that I have never realized before, the role of multinational corporations. Yemisi's company attracts customers like Nestle, Unilever, and Nigerian breweries, among others. And this is one of the reasons for her success. In my mind, and I know that it's an overly simplistic thought, big corporations are bad for our planet because of their impact on the environment. But I can see now that in this puzzle, they have a role, and without their role, this sustainable circuit doesn't work. One of the people I spoke with on the ground the other day told me something about that.
So, when you look at the chain from farm to factory and beyond that, you find out that there are several actors that play critical roles in driving food security in any value chain and in a particular food system and in the country. Aside from the business champion, we have the smallholder farmers, we have the financial institutions, we have the transporters, we have aggregators. Their job is to buy from the smallholder farmers. We also have business support service providers. So the list is limitless because it depends on the type of value chain you are dealing with.
What role multinational play in this?
They play a critical role because when you look at their share of the market in any particular value chain, is large, is huge. Their role is critical in driving an efficient value chain or an efficient food sector in the country. These companies are able to invest in large scale to make low-cost and nutritious food available in the food system.
How do you define all the actors that work towards ensuring food security?
Collectively, when I look at them, I see actors who are driving inclusive agribusiness relationships. I see them as soldiers of change because they go far beyond their business model to ensure that they give back to the communities.
And here I am, outside the Nestle headquarters in Lagos, where I will speak with someone from the communications office in Nestle to get their point of view on the matter. Hi. Good morning. I'm here to see Victoria Wadoka.
Sure, come.
All right.
Our purpose really is to unlock the power of food, to enhance quality of life for everyone today and for the generations to come. And to do that, we look at the ingredients that go into the production. And that's maybe where you'll see our engagement with farmers, suppliers, and aggregators and all of that. So from the farm to the table, what are we doing? Ensuring adequate nutrition for all life stages, produced sustainably and distributed sustainably as well. Food security is ensuring that we're able to feed ourselves today and we're able to feed ourselves tomorrow. That is food security at the end of the day. There is nothing else about food security. You talked about going to the market today and food is expensive. That is not food secure. That's not food secure because people are not going to be able to afford it. The farmers may not have enough income to plant the next season. And what are you doing? You're breaking down your food security value chain. You're breaking down your systems. You're not going to be able to feed your people. I was having a conversation with a friend and I said, oh, okay, the farmers are not able to go into the farms to produce. Which production? The food that we're importing. So Nigeria is importing food. How? When we have arable farmlands and all of that, and we have certain challenges, including security or insecurity, if you want to look at it like that, that is making it difficult for us to cultivate. So everything is tied together. Food security, security of the human life, access to the farmlands, access to the right seeds, and to get to the bottom of the value chain where the food reaches the table. And so we need to increase awareness. Like if we have 2 schools of agriculture in Nigeria at least, what are we doing? How are we really, exposing the young people to the opportunities that exist in agriculture? America was built through agriculture. The Netherlands is built through agriculture. Agriculture sustains a number of economies across the world where they have the opportunity.
I added people to this puzzle, but it is still incomplete. The path to food security is so long and is so complicated, but this is a path that is interesting to follow. Yes, I'm on a plane. That was a bit unexpected, but talking with people, I realized that this partnership between different actors, public and private, are a really good solution. I want to understand if this is a doable, replicable approach in other countries, even when there's a different context, different language, different background. So I'm visiting the neighbors. Hello, Mambi.
Hello, Benson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine too. To wish you welcome to Bamako.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you got.
Yeah.
By translate.
By translate.
Here, I met a couple of people. The one you just saw me speaking with is Mambi, an expert in nutritious food for the people at the base of the pyramid. And the partnership he's mentioning is translate.
It looks dapper. Very well then. All right, let's go straight to it. The short profile of Dr. Obikonye. He boasts of over 2 decades of banking experience with expertise spanning product development, corporate strategy, financial analysis, and project management. He has become a major player in Nigeria's agribusiness financing sector. Under his leadership, Sterling Bank has developed specialized products including Sway AGFin, a single-digit interest financing solution for agribusinesses run by women and youth. A round of applause for him again. Thank you very much, sir. And I see the caller. The next person I'll be inviting on the stage is Mr. Billy Ganza. Is he here? Mr. Billy Ganza, please. I'm sure he's saying, this man, I'm here now, I'm always here. Thank you, sir. Please, let's welcome him up on stage. Mr. Billy Ganza, he serves as the agricultural coordinator at Okomo Oil Palm PLC, leveraging over 35 years of experience in the oil palm sector. With a strong background working across Africa and beyond, he brings valuable expertise to drive sustainable agricultural practices and optimize crop yields. Notably, he has played a pivotal role in fostering the successful partnership between Okomo Oil Palm PLC and 2Scale, driving collaborative initiatives and mutual growth. A round of applause again for Mr. Billy Ganza. That's the second panelist there. The third I'll be bringing on stage is the co-founder and CEO of Cattle Foods and Agro-Allied Global Concepts, Atinuke Lebile. Lebile, all right. Almost sounds like I forgot Atinuke for a bit. I thought it was Kenyan. Lebile. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming. So a short profile here. Atinuke Lebile, she's a renowned expert in agriculture and nutrition that is dedicated to reducing malnutrition, empowering women, and promoting sustainable practices. A round of applause for her again. And then the fourth panelist, who happens to be my friend and brother, well-traveled agribusinessman, is a man of many things, but you get to find out. He is the co-founder and CEO of Post Agivest Solutions Limited and a 2Scale BSS coordinator, Mr. Mayowa Ekundayo. A round of applause for him. And for your information, is a Manchester United fan. Wow. What a time to be a United fan. It's all right. Mbemo is here, so no worries. Mayowa Ekundayo, he organizes and manages vegetable value chain clusters in Western Nigeria. He integrates smallholders into market systems, and he has co-authored the political economy analysis of the horticulture sector in southwest Nigeria. Again, a round of applause for Mr. Mayowa Ekundayo. I mean, if you are very familiar with this man, his business is the talk of the town in the southwest, and I'm sure it's a global brand already. And then we have the moderator who would be coordinating the conversation on this panel. He's the executive director of One Life Initiative, a non-governmental organization that has worked with 2Scale projects from 2014 till date, Mr. Shola Fagorusi. A round of applause for him, the moderator for this panel session. Mr. Shola Fagorusi is a youth sector expert and has led the design and implementation of over 15 multi-year programs and projects targeted at adolescents and young people. He is a Bridge Fellow on with the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, NESG, and sits on the board of a couple of non-profit organizations in Nigeria. Again, a round of applause for him. Before I take it to the moderator to kick off the conversation on the panel, let me quickly recognize the presence of the country manager, Oiko Credit International, Dr. Ufoma Egwerehe. Is she here? A round of applause for her. Please, can you wave your hand? Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. All right, then. Let's get the conversation going.
Thank you very much, MC. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited about this. At some point, I would open the floor as well. If you have very burning questions you want to ask, I would ask that you jump into the conversation. Okay, so let me start with Mr. Billy Gansa. Okomu's stock price currently is priced at, can anyone guess in the room? 930 Naira. Yes, that's what it is. Now, all of this is happening despite, all the economic reforms, FX liberalization in the country, monetary policies. What exactly is Okomo Oil? How did all of this impact Okomo Oil? And I'm also interested in having our audience here also learn how exactly is this impacting on our smallholder farmers that actually play within your space there?
Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you. That's a very loaded question. Huh? I'll try my best to answer. First one is the fact that Okomu plays the long game. We are a tree crop company which is into both palm and rubber, and these are long-term crops, so we always think long-term. We don't do our business for today, thinking that tomorrow will not be there, so we always do long-term plans for that purpose. Now, given the situation that we have, there have been positives and negatives. The most important thing is to get certainty in the policy environment. When you do get the is it better? I thought my voice could carry without a microphone, but the most important thing is certainty of policies. When the policies change, it tends to be uncertain for us and it creates problems for us. But if the policy environment is stable, we're able to plan properly for it. That's the first thing. And I'll say for now, the various policies which have come into play have played both positive and negative impact. The positive one is, of course, you get better prices for your products, right? But the better prices are driven mainly by inflation. It's not like what you get yesterday and the same prices today. But it has an impact on the end consumer, who then also relies on the same product that we produce, especially crude palm oil. Because crude palm oil is a consumer product in Nigeria. It's not like something which has to be refined before people would use it. They use it directly. So its price has a big impact on the pocket of the consumer. However, what I can say is that despite all those things, we believe that what we are witnessing is the product of a long-term plan that we have put in place. And when we brought in the farmers to work with us, that's the whole thing that we talked to them about. And that is where I would like to commend two-scale, especially in terms of the what I would call the transparent pricing mechanism that we put in place through them, which helped us to decide pricing of the product that is a farmer product to us without a lot of rancor, because most of the time these partnerships break apart because of the mistrust that comes into play when people feel they are not getting what they expect. And that I would like to thank two-scale especially for it, because they did a very good job, a value chain analysis to help us in that case. And I would also like to say that the farmers have benefited in the sense that in putting together this program, they have also gotten a certainty in terms of the market. And if you know, here in Nigeria, around this time, palm oil prices go up. And during January through to April, the prices crash. But that's not what happens when we deal with farmers. We give them the same prices throughout. What I mean by same prices throughout is it's based on the price that we get. It is not based on the local market forces alone. It's both local and international. And that is what has helped them to also weather the storm. I would like to end here, but I'm sure a lot of questions will come later.
Very much. I hear you talk about, the fact that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint, to paraphrase you. Let me come to Atinuke. You're a woman, of course, you had dreamt about this moment, several years back when you would run your own business. What I want you to tell this audience is how difficult has this been? How easy has this also been? What are those major milestones for you? Sometimes when you look back in your own private corners, what lessons can other women trying to do something similar to what you're currently doing with Cattle Foods learn from your experience so far?
All right, thank you very much for that question. Talking about the journey, it hasn't been a very easy one, really. I came into agriculture about 13 years ago when not much women are in agriculture. So, and even coming into the space where traditionally it is male-dominated area, cassava. So it's something that initially when I was starting, there was a lot of difficulty where people look down on you, underestimate what you can contribute, even on decision-making tables, they're looking at, oh, I have a small stature. So, so talking about it is always like, what can she offer, until you speak. And also, one of the things that actually that kept the dreams going is the passion and also the motivation to empower more women like me and also youth, and also to see that people feed on nutritious food. So I didn't just come into agriculture just to make sure that I'm producing or people are eating food or I'm doing cassava. I came into agriculture because I want to address malnutrition and eating hunger, because it's something that was very prominent as at that time. And we need to find a solution, a sustainable solution that needs to address this challenge. So that was what made me come into agriculture. So I need to get that going. No matter what was coming along my way, I need to get that going. And one of the things that also helped me is the power of mentors. I was able to meet people. I didn't keep myself in a corner just to say, okay, because I'm being underestimated in rooms, or because there are not so much women in the industry. I had to come outside to say, please, I need help. I asked for help. I met mentors. I met people. I also get involved in programs. Those times, they are not programs that are women-centered, just like we have right now. All the programs around agriculture, they are around men, all those kind of things. But you have to lobby yourself in those rooms just to get things going. And my advice to women here who are in agriculture, or who want to venture into agriculture, is you need to put yourself out there. You need to meet people who has gone ahead of you to learn from them, because that will also help to cut your the journey short in a while, because you are learning from their story. And also, what is the why that's keeping you going? What is the why that's keeping you in the business? There are a lot of people who started even after I started, and they are no more in the agri space. Is it frustrating? Yes, very, very frustrating. Agriculture can frustrate you. There are times you cry. There are times you just I remember the time I got to the farm, and because of X-Men coming to the farm, all I did was I started crying, because I really don't know what to do at that time. When X-Men eat about 10 hectares of land at the same time, what are you going to do? But now we've grown from 10 hectares to having, as grand farmers, even cultivate for you, and also processing and all that. It is power of tenacity, resilience. And one thing that has actually kept me going is collaboration networks and mentors, and also developmental partnership like this to scale has actually also helped us to grow and keep us on the track. Thank you.
That with us. I'll come to my so indulge me to read from here. Just yesterday in the news, in the South state, the 183 young persons were arrested by the Nigerian Army from a Yahoo training school by the HQ 63 Brigade Nigerian Army. The youngest of them was 16 and the oldest was 29. My question to Mayowa, very clearly, how do we make agribusiness attractive to young people using various forms of innovation? How do we get our young people out of this dark space into this space of ours?
Simple response will be result-driven innovation. And elaborating on result-driven innovation, I'm going to tell stories. I like to tell stories a lot. I remember the first time myself and Mr. Emmanuel visited one of the clusters that have one of the communities that have now been formed into an agribusiness cluster, and we mentioned the innovation of irrigation, and it sounded really strange to them because they didn't believe that they could do any type of agriculture outside of the rainy season. And one of the funny things they said was if they wanted extra rain, they would pay the rain man to make rain for them, right?
And of course, we went on to pilot irrigation system, not just an irrigation system, but an irrigation system powered by solar, which we showed them, we trained them, and now we have farmers in our community who don't just farm with water can, but now with irrigation. And we now have farmers who have also adopted solar irrigation. Now, how has that empowered them? Now, initially, we saw pushbacks to say these technologies are too expensive, but I'm going to mention a name. This guy, his name is Nii. One of the people that we trained, his name is Nii. He adopted this technology almost immediately, and within the space of 1 year, he completed his house, right? And it was from results that was visible within the agricultural practice of this guy that he completed the house building. And so at that point, it was a no-brainer for the farming community to see that this is what this guy is doing differently based off the training that he has received from the Two-Scale project and the innovation that Two-Scale had introduced. So one of the best days for me walking into the farming community, I think it was sometimes last year, was when one of the smallholder farmers saw me and said, Oga, we know they farm that our tomato again, no, that your tomato we they farm now, right? What that simply said to me was adoption, innovation is now being adopted, the seeds are now being adopted. And last year, while we were, trying to get feedbacks from the farmers to see if our project, the Two-Scale project, the Raise the Farmer project was impactful in the local communities, we reached out to one of the farmers, Farmer Ife, and these are names that you can verify. I mean, we have people from Ekiti State here. I'm sure my commissioner knows the Farmer Ife that I just mentioned. Please, and by the way, a round of applause to my commissioner, the commissioner for Ekiti State. And Farmer Ife said, and I asked the question, I said, what, are we just making noise in Eriok, or is there an impact from the training? And he said, sir, there is an impact from what you're doing. And he said he's made 70% more earnings than the average farmers who have not yet adopted the innovations that we have introduced to that community. And for me, and again, what 70% will mean to you is about maybe 4-point-something million more than the other farmers were making from an acre of land, right? So if you want youth to adopt agriculture, right? Yes, agriculture is difficult it exerts energy. And besides the fact that it exerts energy, it's an occupation of solitude, right? You most times are missing out on what other youth are doing. So if you want them to adopt agriculture, it's important that we start to shine the light on more innovations that will eventually lead to economic, what's the word? Economic empowerment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hear you talk about solitude, I hear you talk about energy, and I hear you talk about innovation, right? The first is not something that young people like, right? The last two we love, yes. Right? So I'll go to you, sir. Sterling Bank. Everybody say Sterling Bank. If you want a loan, you better say it with some respect. Say Sterling Bank. Okay? We'll ask him to cut soap for us before he leaves this place today. So in the last 24 months, we've seen, several policies, from governments. In all of this, a major one is what we call the NPR. So every time we see the NPR, we see the numbers, our hearts start beating. That look, it means we can't approach the bank. We're looking forward to the day when the NPR will be saying, 10%. From your own perspective, from your own learning, what are those opportunities that we can look at in terms of public-private partnership? We've seen what development partners, quite a number of them have been able to do with your bank. Are there other reflections that you have in this direction, such that if new programs are being designed, such can actually be, included and introduced into that space? We would love to hear from you, sir.
Thank you very much. We can only say tall when it comes to the NPC and of course the NPR. In fact, as I am speaking, NPC is on its day 2 of monthly meeting, And I think any moment from now or later in the day, they would tell us what their decision is all about. But the good news is that since February, I think they have kept the current NPR at 27.5. And I think with the growth that had been announced, I think they said that our economy has grown by some 3.1 or so percent. I want to believe that with that level of improvement, we will then anticipate that the very worst would be the retention of the current NPR, and perhaps we probably would see, if the miracle happens, a reduction of the same. But we all know that these words that we speak, they have this ripple effect on all of the value chain players. And especially when you come to agriculture and the various endeavors that play within that sector. There had always been that issue. Today, we know that, and this is for a fact, that there is no one farmer who, at the scale that the two-scale organization had always tried to intervene, and especially plays at the primary production segment of the value chain, can engage our current commercially priced rate. Perhaps 30% at the very best is what you can get at the moment. And so these had been the issues, and these had been issues way before NPR is this. I mean, the NPR is 27.5. There had always been that. And so government had intervened through various schemes and interventions to ensure that what we call affordable financing can always be made available to this segment of value chain players. And that is the reason why over time you have seen their credit guarantee schemes, and more especially until recently, their intervention funds. If well designed and implemented, intervention funds should, they are designed to stimulate growth, to engender sustainability amongst other lofty ideals. But execution is everything. By the time you are done implementing, what you have designed to stimulate can actually show up as a disruptor of the market. So it's on that note that we begin to look at how the bank will continue to, especially in the absence of affordable financing coming from the public sector, lend, especially commercial banks, lend to that particular segment, not only the segment, the entire value chain. So value chain financing comes in as a very strong or attractive option for banks to engage. By value chain financing, I will talk to the fact that you would look at the strongest link of the chain, and then you can always come into certain levels of strategic collaboration, the type again that we have that ripple effect and ensure access to finance. We came to understand that access to finance can only be sustainable when two very important areas are fixed. First will be knowledge management, capacity building, best agronomic practices, extension services, and all of those stuff that actually make competence there. The second, of course, will be access to market. How exactly are you going to deal with the issues of storage infrastructure, logistics and transportation, even road infrastructure, among others. And the moment we're able to make sure that things are kind of stable in these two areas, then you can turn on the tap of finance, knowing fully well that all that you need to now do is to put your funds into that system, and the ROI will come. That is return on investment. It is on that note that we have always leveraged what TwoScale came to the table with. They have come to say that, look, let's engage the system for you. Let's engage the ecosystem. Let's identify the things that will make for sustainable financing. And so we migrated from value chain financing with the enablement of the services of two-scale to what I would call ecosystem financing. So it is not just all about the farmers alone, but about the ambience that actually make them comfortable and able to work. We are then able to look at capacity management, capacity building, that is knowledge management. We're able to look at de-risking tools, the type that would help us to bring down the pricing, because credit risk guarantees have a way of actually impacting significantly on the pricing of any facility. How we leverage, should I say, intervention funds or blended finance, that is development funds, I think that is the right word, to ensure that we also get certain levels of price concessions to this particular segment of value chain players. And of course, not only will the risking or credit risk guarantee do that, it will also help with the tenure of the facility for as long as we will need it, depending on what we're able to come up with. And of course, the issues of collateralization, like a lot of borrowers will always say, the bank will ask me to bring the head of my grandmother and all of those. So there will be no need for that, simply because we have been able to identify that. So for me, I think the co-creation of tools, of products, leveraging those factors that I have spoken about, had ensured that even in the absence of the type of intervention funds that Nigeria rolled out in the last 10 years, even without that, we're then able to get certain levels of concessionary funds to the right segment of the value chain, and then we are able to make it sustainable. At least I can tell you for a fact that since the suspension of the intervention funds, we have continued to leverage the development finance or the blending funds of the partnership that we have with institutions like the MasterCard Foundation to avail single-digit interest loans to our farmers. We've been able to also leverage funds from ATIF, for example. And just recently, through the, again, services of N2Scale, they introduced us to the DFCD. The DFCD had approved for us in sterling the sum of about $35 million for on-lending. Of course, this goes for green financing, climate smart agriculture, but it also drives gender inclusivity amongst others. Not only did they do that, they'd also given us about 350,000 euros for us to be able to set up a green finance desk, all at the instance of the introduction that we got from 2Scale. So these are the possible areas that we have always engaged, and the platform actually for sustainability, because we understand that what 2Scale has done is actually sustainable and it is meant to scale. What I think we now need to focus on is a co-created platform with value chain players like 2Scale, but more importantly, the farmers, the credit risk service providers, the agronomic practitioners, I mean, that is extension services, those who are in charge of supply chain management. If we can all get a seemingly common platform, the type that will help us with data infrastructure, the type that would help banks develop capacity to reach the last miles. I'm talking about digital tools. And then we talk about the reorganization of the supply chain, especially as it has to do with electronic platforms of commodities. I mean, we actually had one, and we had an MOU with 2Scale like that. That's a service platform, just to be able to engage a seamless market. I believe that that will actually drive sustainability. Of course, development partners, they are very important on that table, on that platform. They will also help to drive sustainability. And then we can go ahead and talk about the journey to food systems transformation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Please, a round of applause for him. Let me double down on that question because you've expanded into sustainability and all of that. In very clear and specific terms, for young people in the room, for women in the room who are looking at Sterling Bank and are happy that you're on the panel here, what are those specific products that are currently available and open that they can take advantage of? I know you have, so it's free commercials, you won't be paying for it. I know you currently have a product where you say zero what's it called now, charges and all of that. You want to speak to several of those for those in the room.
Okay, I will speak to our bespoke products, just a couple of them, and they will be there. By the way, on the zero charges product, it is really not a product, it was just a decision of Sterling Bank to identify with the teeming Nigerian populace, especially as the economy situation reflects. What we have just done is to drop all bank charges, especially your transfer charges. It's an advocacy and a form of response, corporate social responsibility, to say that, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. You can transfer to any bank that you like through your Sterling Bank account at no charge at all. So that's not the product, it's actually a decision we have made. If you're an account holder in Sterling, you can always do that. Now, we have a couple of products that I want to put on the table today. The first is the Sterling Women and Youth in Agriculture. This particular program is a development, is a partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. We started out on this at the turn of the COVID. They brought in some returnable grants at virtually no cost to us. And they are asking that we match this particular fund with our commercially priced funds. And we're able to blend it to achieve an interest rate of 9%. The last 4 years has seen us engage the value chain, primary production, processing, farm machinery and equipment, storage infrastructure, right down to commodities trade. The value chain players in all of these segments have actually had the opportunity of coming in to engage this fund. Again, it is bespoke for youth and for women. Youth, according to the international definition, is anyone between the ages of 18 and 35. That actually crushed my own definition that says that the youth is anyone between the ages of 6 and 60, just so that we can all be involved, right? But they said that is the definition. Okay, we'll stay with it, and especially 70% of women. So we must have that for us to be able to push. We've had 4 years of engagement with the foundation. About 24,000 women and youth have been beneficiaries. But more importantly will be the fact that not only were they able to have access, over the last 4 years, we have been able to track the growth of a number of these beneficiaries, and many of them have moved from small or micro to what we will call medium. And so that scale factor is also very important to us, because the indirect impact of that will be, of course, employment generation, better standard of living and all. And then, of course, there is a green finance that I just spoke about. Again, because you have development partners that have strategic intents and goals, the green finance will be focused essentially to people who will leverage climate smart agriculture in their engagement. That is their agripreneurial engagement. That will then mean that you have the opportunity to access that fund at a concessionary rate. You do not necessarily have to be doing greenhouse, exactly, thank you. But you must have the panoply of what the climate smart agriculture elements are, even if we are out there in the open field. And unlike the first product that I mentioned, this one actually is for everyone. It's an all-comers affair, and it can be applied to primary production, it can be applied to processing, equipment, that is renewable energy and all of them, amongst others. For brevity of time, I think I will just put these two on the table.
Thank you so much. Please, let's appreciate him, please. Mr. Gansa, let me come back to you. I talked about climate change and all of that earlier on. Now you're having to battle issues around this very clearly. You have concerns around new pests, diseases, but we're seeing you, thanks to the two-scale project, integrating smallholder farmers into your entire supply chain, right? What has this experience been like, and how did the two-scale, project also help, impact on this? We'd love to hear, your experience.
Thank you very much. I think now everybody can hear me. It's been a long journey and quite an exciting one. When we engaged with two-scale initially, our first aim was integrate the farmers into our supply chain, get them to be part of us. But along the line, we noticed a lot of shortcomings from their end, which we needed to help them improve on, because when their yields are poor, it has a negative impact on us in two ways. One of them is the fact that it becomes a disincentive for them to continue working with us. And the second thing was the fact that they are not that more interested in working with the company unless they get higher prices than what we have agreed. So what we brought in was interventions. And one of the interventions, interestingly, oil palm is quite a heavy type of job. It is very tasking physically. And most of our farmers are middle-aged, because to plant oil palm to the age that they were, of average age of about 15 years, it means that they would have started it when they were a bit younger, and so it was difficult. So we brought in service providers who could then help the farmers harvest their crop on time, because another thing that was happening was that they were losing their crop because they could not harvest on time. Their timetables were all messed up, so by the time you get there, they are not ready to bring the crop out because they have not been able to finish. If you talk to a worker who works with a farmer who has only 100 trees, if he harvests 50 bunches, he wants to be earning maybe 10,000 for the day. He will not get it from that place, but he will demand it from the farmer. And if that same worker gets a bigger area to work with, he can get the same 10,000, and the cost will be shared among all the farmers. That's one advantage there. The other one was purely best management practices in agriculture. We know a lot about oil palm because oil palm originates from West Africa. We have been using it in our culture, we have been eating it, but we do not know how to plant it to get the best out of it. And that is what we have been training our farmers on. A farmer would plant willy-nilly anything that he gets, and most of the time the planting material he plants is not going to give him the best results at the end of the day. It's a long-term investment, and he will not get what he wants. So we also try to bring in new planting materials from our end to help them. And the third one is other services. Incidentally, we worked with Sterling Bank a bit to help us get some funding for the farmers. Mostly we call it working capital loans, because when you, in this season, when the rain is falling more, weeding is more expensive. But the farmer needs more money for that. And that's why we brought in that system. So all of this came through our collaboration through our relationship with two-scale. And I would like to thank them publicly for that.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so we're running out of time. Just two quick questions. Let me start with Atinuke. So several of those activities and engagements on the two-scale, program, which of them made the biggest impact, on your business? Would love to hear from you. Which of them do you think make the biggest impact on your business?
Thank you very much. Well, that's quite a hard question, because if you say I should just mention one, I'm trying to I'll mention three. Not one. But one of the things that the Scale Project has done for us is to build an inclusive business model around our business, right? From the primary production to even the value addition to market, it has been something that as a business Cattle Food as a whole, we've just been operating in our circle of farmers, markets, and all that. But the project itself bring about inclusiveness, women, youth. Even personally, we brought in IDPs and all these guys just to work with in our business, and this is one of the things that Suske project did. Now they will not just give you theory, they're ready to work with you from the beginning to the end. And another thing that the Suske project has done for us is also to build a strong supply chain model, right? Working with smallholder farmers, how we can source better, how they can cultivate, cultivate better, because through the Suske project and working with BSS, our farmers have been able to move from 6 tons per hectare of cassava cultivation to about 20 tons because of the intervention of BSS on the Suske project. And this is one of the things that have even helped us to increase our production and not even lack raw materials. And the third is market access. Through the market activation, reaching out to BOPs, even we had to enter into some major rural areas just to be sure to market the product and come up with BOP product, so that everybody along the value chain, either you are a BOP or you are a middle, whatever, you'll be able to have access to nutritious food. So these are some of the things that the Suske project has done, and we are so grateful to them. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. And then finally, Mayowa, so she just talked about, BSS, helping coordinate. I want you to help, the audience, especially for our media colleagues, understand. When we say agribusiness clusters, how does that help, in driving the entire, inclusiveness and entrepreneurship of the entire system?
One word: guarantee, right? At the core of the two-scale project is the ABC, and what that does is it guarantees the flow of business amongst the value chain players. It is at the ABC, the formation of the ABC, that guarantees that when farmers grow, that they're going to be able to sell. And for lucky enough, VDNS piloted a 15 million naira input credit scheme late last year, early this year, for farmers within the clusters. If the ABC didn't exist, that input credit scheme would not be guaranteed. So the presence of that cluster is the guarantee that that inclusion was going to be successful, that the farmers were going to pay. Meanwhile, there was 100% repayment success rate for the input credit scheme. Our business started, we started the Post Harvest Solutions Limited in 2023, based off the guarantee that the ABCs exist, because we're not talking to just one ABC, exist. And right now we're on a trajectory for a 500 million revenue in 3 years, based off the fact that there is a cluster that exists that will service our organization. Guarantee. The commissioner called me early this year and said, Mayowa, we want to provide some of your farmers inputs. Give me a list. Guarantee. I went back to the ABC and I said, the commissioner is providing the farmers amongst us inputs. Give me the lists. The ABC exists. That's the reason he's able to do what he did. Guarantee. There is a man that comes from every single time that area sends me input, sends me farm produce, this man is the person that they use, the driver. Guarantee. There is a system. There is the farmers, there is me. This man, every time he comes, I know he has been paid. Livelihood has been improved. There is a sure source of earning from him. The ABC, that guarantee. So the ABC is what guarantees. As a matter of fact, I was going to talk about safe food, right? My customers give a feedback about a particular crop. The guarantee that I have that my farmers are going to improve
on their production is the ABC, because we hold meetings once in a month at least, and I'm there to say, hey guys, I need you to reduce the agrochemicals you're using for the production of this particular crop or this list of crops. The guarantee that I have is the existence of the ABC, which to scale piloted. I'm going to start.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know I promised that we're going to have questions, but because of time, please feel free to actually network with them after now. Okay, please feel free to do that. Please, a round of applause for the panelists here. I will just ask that we step forward, for a group photograph, please.
Again, a round of applause for them. Thank you so much, dear panelists, for your insights, insightful, enriching conversation here. Telling us a whole lot, and the storytelling time from Mayara, and of course the rest of the crew. I hope Sterling Bank, how much loan can we get from you, sir? We are banking on you. We are banking on your bank. Thank you very much. I'm sure that there will be a lot of networking with this man in red cap and white. A lot of people are spotting him and saying, this man, I will let you go. All right, thank you so much. And of course, the moderator, Shola Fagosi. Nice doing business with you. Let us see tete-a-tete after the show. Thank you very much. All right, let's just go straight to the next thing on the agenda. I was hoping we could take one or two questions, but then time is of essence. So we'll go straight to what's next. Just like Fagosi has said, feel free to network with the panelists, ask your questions, and I'm sure they are readily available to answer those questions. Straight to the next thing on the agenda, we'll have the CEO of Sultry International, Yemisi Ironloye, to quickly talk about driving social impact and sustainable growth. A round of applause for that, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for having me here this afternoon. It's already an afternoon. And congratulations to 2Scale for a very well successful program run in Nigeria and other parts of Africa. Sultry happened to be one of the among the first companies to benefit from the 2Scale grant. That's in 2014. And as at that time, we had actually started our Agra program because the business was actually built as an inclusive business, even though I didn't understand what I was doing. I just knew I wanted my business to impact the farmers, and so it was so located in the heart of the middle of nowhere. I mean, that picture you saw, you can see no houses nearby, just some huts, villages around, the village that gave us the land. But then I had the vision in 2010 when I was still with Agro, and this farmer brought his crop, and his crop all got bad because he was on the road for 5 days, and I felt moved. I took him to my MD then, and then I made a case for him. I had to guarantee with my salary, and then we gave him another money and asked him to bring it like 7 times so we could take the deduction. And I went back home and I felt depressed. Why will this man lose all his money? Because this family had no business being here. It should be just near this old man. And that was how Sultry was birthed in my mind. For every business, it actually starts from being birthed in your mind. So it was birthed in my mind. By November 22nd, 2005, actually Sultry will be 20 years this year, Sultry was incorporated. But then, that was seed. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about inclusive business. All I knew was that I want to one day have a business that will be close to old men like this, and so that they will not suffer again, and they will bring their crops to me. And I can produce something for the multinationals. I'm a biochemist by calling. So when we started in 2011, we started with 17 farmers, and we gathered them, and we started doing what I could do. After I left paid employment fully in 2011, 2012, And we started with 17. By the second year, we went to 100 because the yield from our 17 farmers was so good. Their lives were much better because they had guaranteed price. From 100, in 2013, we had moved to about 100, 150. And I didn't know what to do again. You know, I was not an agribusiness expert. And that was how TwoScale came along. And they saw that, oh, you moved from 17 to 110, 150. That's good job. We can help you. And that was how they came. They got us a very good agronomist, Thompson, and then he came in and started helping us to organize a fantastic structure. They trained all our field officers, we employed graduates. We had a whole department for agri. So he structured what we have today, whatever Sotri is today in terms of Agroa's program, the structure you read about was bettered by TwoScale. And it's on top of that every other people who now came after came to build. But who did the thinking? It was the concept. Because at that point I couldn't fund it anymore. Because don't forget, I used my profit. I was using my profit to fund it. And what did TwoScale do, basically? One was providing me the structure. Two, they gave us an agronomist. I mean, I couldn't pay for such a staff at that time. And this guy was there. He was also a very passionate man. I don't even know where he is now. I'm sure he must be doing very well. Very passionate agronomist who now helped train my key staff who now go to meet the farmers. By the time TwoScale was going, we were above 3,000 farmers. That's after, above 3,000, about 3,000, 4,000 farmers from 150 farmers. Not only did we organize the farmers, we took, for the first time, the farmers to the bank, got the farmers to plant, and paid 100% bank. It has never happened in the history of the country at that time. We got the recognition of CBN. We have to know these farmers that are paying back. And at that time, there was this loan, there was no Agribusiness scheme at that time. There was this one loan they call Agri Credit, something, guarantee scheme, where you can ask for drawback. So all my farmers got their drawback. And that was where Sotri had its first national recognition. Because we were like, how? But we did it. It was because farmers were actually organized. Farmers actually had good yield. They were happy to pay because they knew the benefit. And Sotri actually blossomed. Within that period, we built the first plant. It was during that period of TwoScale that we built the second plant. Very fast, in 3 years, 2 plants together. And we had consistent raw material, fantastic product. Another challenge that they helped us solve was transportation. Because at that time, the whole village had just 2 pickups. So transportation was difficult. So I think the following year they got us a grant. A part of the grant was to facilitate transportation structure. So we developed small pickups that could carry 3 tons. And so within 2 hours, trucks bring the product to the factory, coming very fresh, and that impacted the quality of product that we delivered. So when you hear Sotri product very high quality, because of the premium quality cassava that comes, and that comes from the real thinking, the strategy that was, the foundational strategy that was brought to bear from the grants that we got. So many other things that we benefited. But then going back to what is the impact, I'm sure if I can bring I don't know when last TwoScale guys were in Sotri. Right now we have double carriage road from the road to the villages behind Sotri. It's now a well. I actually brought some pictures, but I see they've removed the projector, so I felt okay, maybe some other time. So when we got there was no light, no water, no road, nothing. It was people just tie wrapper or wearing nothing. It was really primitive environment. Today, the women in that village can send their children to private schools. They earn. We buy cassava of, maybe this year, maybe we'll buy about 3-4 billion worth of cassava. Maybe next year it's even going to double. And 70% of it is coming from the environment of 50-kilometer radius to us. So the livelihood of the people have improved. So if this story it's worth saying that the money that came from Netherlands or from wherever countries, the taxpayers' money that came to Ado-Awaye had actually impacted, have improved lives. You can trace it. In 10 years to come, you can still come there and say, this money did this, and we are building and building on it. So it's a project well thought out. I can say that it is a project worth replicating, and it is a project worth applauding, because I am a living testimony to what has done, what have been done so far, and I can imagine that that is a testimony that most people also have in this room. And so Tuske, thank you very much. I'm so busy this week, but I said, no, I have to be here. I mean, the foundation of whatever we have, I've been busy today, was because you helped us get it right from the beginning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CEO Sultry International. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Of course, the woman in the documentary and the one here is the same, very lively. You know, sometimes I wonder, what is P doing in Sultry? What's P doing there? What's K doing in life? English is so complicated. Noku. Just leave it at N-U-C-K-L-E. Why K? You know? Sultry. S-A-L-T-E-R-Y. Why P? What's the P doing there? What's the work of that P? It's all right. Thank you so much, madam. Let's get right to it. What's next on the agenda? Don't forget, we told you earlier, a documentary running tonight, 8:30 p.m. Make sure you find time to watch it. Again, she's featured there. It will run on channel 420 DSTV by 8:30 p.m. Feel free. It will also run tomorrow, same time, New Central Channel 422 and other channels. Very well, let's bring on stage some eminent personalities connected to why we're gathered here for the presentation of Two-Scale Interactive Magazine. I have a couple of names to call forward, led by the program director, Two-Scale program. She was here earlier with a very rich welcome remark. She'll be leading the team for the presentation this afternoon. And that is the program director, Two-Scale program, Marina Di Boma. A round of applause as we begin the presentation of the Two-Scale Interactive Magazine. She's going to be joined on stage by these following persons. First, of course, it was here as well earlier, the Consul General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Lagos, Michel Deline. Thank you very much, sir. And then we'll have the Commissioner for Agriculture, Ekiti State, Ebenezer Bolwani. Thank you very much, sir. We also have joining them the Country Manager, Oiko Credit International, Dr. Ufoma Egwere. Is she here, please? Thank you very much. Thank you. A round of applause for her, please, as she makes her way down. Joining them on stage as well is the DG Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Chino Almona. Thank you very much, ma'am. And then we'll have the final person, but not the least, definitely, the MDCO VDNS Farmer Center, Mrs. Folake Aino, joining them on stage as well. Thank you very much. I'll pass the mic now to the program director, Two-Scale.
Thank you. I think we're missing one person on stage, the CEO of the Bank of Agriculture. Yes. Thank you. It's been very, we spoke since this morning about the Two-Scale journey. It's been a journey full of valuable lessons, achievements, challenges. So when we were thinking about the way we could also give back to all those who have not been part of this journey, we went back in the time when phase 1 of 2Scale was wrapping up. A book was published, a very thick book, as you can imagine. And then we thought, now we are in the years 2020, it was 2024. What do we do? A book? People nowadays don't read a lot. We need to capture it in such a way that it's interactive. Whoever, any reader will have access to the different tools, channels that 2Scale has developed and invested in. So part of the way we decided to share these insights, you saw the documentary. We thought it's important that everyone else can see and listen to the actors. You've noticed that there've just been a few people, staff members from 2Scale speaking in the documentary, but more testimonies from the actors we have worked with. Now, 2Scale will be 2Scale, something will not be written, right? I always say it's even, this program is an academy by itself. And I think you can also agree with me with the testimony of the Institute of Agricultural Management in Nigeria, everything that is coming out from the collaboration, PhD programs, MBA programs, inclusive agribusiness certifications. So we decided to publish this interactive magazine. What does that mean? It means in a moment we're going to, I think behind us there is a QR code so that everyone can have access to it from their mobile phone and just read it as they go, and they can share also to whoever they think this could be interested for. But also, more important, in this magazine, you'll find case studies that will tell you more about what happened in some of the countries. But here we selected the 3 countries that were also filmed in the documentary. But you can also have access to other stories that will bring you to our YouTube channels, to our website, and beyond that we even develop a 2Scale Academy for anyone who would like to learn. This is a work in progress as we are transferring our work. Everyone who will want to train themselves through the different modules will have access to this academy. So, and you will also find different publication, research, there's a wealth of information you will find through our different channels. So it is my pleasure and honor today to present this interactive magazine to you. We've just printed a few copies, as I said. You can all in a moment scan this magazine and read and share, and hopefully, as many speakers today said, but also you may see as the last speaker, you can replicate, you can gain inspiration, you can even upskill. So with this, I would like to invite everyone around me to just raise this magazine, and please give a big hand to everyone who has been part of this process. You can do better than that, really. Michelle, maybe you want to say something?
Just, if you scan the code and if you have the physical copy, at the very last page, it has like 5 lessons learned. And as I said in my short introduction, those are the important things. Those are the important things that we take away. Yes, great success, and yes, we have learned things that we can use to further projects and programs in this same space. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we still need to hold the magazine for a picture moments? Yes? Thank you very much. And we'll now move to give you the opportunity to scan the QR code. Thank you very much for your attention.
A round of applause for them. Thank you very much. The program director, to scale, of course, coming here with our team to launch that interactive magazine. Just like she said, that's the QR code. Feel free to scan, and if you're interested in reading, I'm not sure it's on TikTok, but you can try. Reading is a big deal in Nigeria today. If you want to write anything, just put it, in a book or something. And if you want to make it widely known, put it on social media. So, two sides of the coin. All right, we'll go straight to the next thing on the agenda. We're rounding up, it's the closing part of this very elaborate, mind-filling strategic program. I know that we've, been able to interact. We've been able to get something. Key takeaways, from start to finish. It's time to sum up everything, and we have someone to do just that for us in form of a closing remark. I skipped him for a bit, and I hope he doesn't punish me, but I'm sure he won't. He's the managing director of the Bank of Agriculture, Ayo Shotime. Thank you very much. Please a round of applause as he gives us a closing remark. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I think I'm trying to end the day too early. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I need your attention because I think we've just witnessed history. Let me start by just sort of doing a quick introduction for some of you who don't know who I am. My name is Ayo Shotime. I'm the managing director at the Bank of Agriculture. My job is very simple yet quite daunting right here because I've been asked to give a closing remark. I think I need to start by appreciating, first of all of us who are in this room for taking the time to actually come and felicitate and hear and listen and share experiences over the course of two Skills' existence in Nigeria. Let me also appreciate the drivers of this. One, the Kingdom of Netherlands, represented here by Michelle. Also, my very, very good friend, for a lot of you who don't know, Marina, the country director. We've known each other for a very long time, over 10 years now. And also the Nigerian country rep, Olisa, who I met, I think, maybe 5 years ago. One word, intentionality, right? Two Skills have been very intentional about this program, this initiative over the years. I call it being deliberate about what you believe in. I would say, they say it's a decade of promoting inclusive agribusiness in Africa. They've probably done 10 countries in 10 years, 15 years? 15 years. And I think they've done an exceptional, wonderful job. Can we give a big round of applause to the rest of Two Skills? And to the food soldiers, I don't call them food soldiers, I call them food generals. Because before this job, I was in agriculture. I'm still in agriculture. And trust me, it's one of the most difficult sector to be in. Mr. Biliganza, you might not know me, but you're next door to me. I used to run SAO Agro, an oil pump company, 20,000 hectares. And it's a very, very difficult job. To Sultry, Mrs. Yemisi, Keep up the good work. I want to say something. At the Bank of Agriculture, before I say, it's a closing remark, but I really need to, say something quite important. At the Bank of Agriculture, our job, what the bank was set out to do 53 years ago, is to finance agribusiness across the agricultural landscape in Nigeria. Not to finance some smallholder farmers or to finance, some, I would say, parts of the value chain. And we've not been playing our role, I can easily own up. Taking over 3 months now, our plan is to focus on what I call the systemic problems within the sector, which is the input system. Mrs. Yemi talked about our farmers doing 20 tons per hectare now, which is very commendable, an exceptional achievement. But I met a Thai farmer who says they organize cassava growing competition, and there's some farmers who do 100 tons per hectare. I actually saw a video. So for us, how do we start to interface with actors in the sector, the food generals, to change the landscape of the input system? Number one, moving the farmers from seed systems that do 1 to 2 tons per hectare to 6 to 10 tons per hectare. For irrigation, how do we farm all year round? Farming 4 times a year, like we see in other climes. Equipment, how do we, have a leasing system or mechanization as a service system that is domesticated in Nigeria, where all farmers can have access to these services to help them mechanize the right way. For agronomy services, I was in Brazil with Mr. President just 2 weeks ago, and I met a company who trains 1 million farmers in Nigeria. All of these things, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. All I need to do is just to bring them to Nigeria and to help me train and retrain 1 million farmers in Nigeria every single year, using our outlets. We have 110 branches across the country. So for me, if we're able to invest in those input systems, it now makes it easier to invest in the agriculture sector. It now makes it easier to give, cattle foods money to produce different things, Solitary and other companies that are here. We want to change the narrative. We want to disrupt the market. We want to use technology to disrupt the market within the food sector. We also want to partner with, other FIs, financial institutions like Sterling Bank, FCMB, and they want to work with us to ensure that funding, the right type of funding, is going to the farmers. And the most important thing is to solve the biggest challenge in the sector, which is access to finance. How do we help our farmers gain access to finance? Not cost of finance now. I hear my brother talk about 9%. I'm not sure if we're going to 9%, but we'll see. Also to start to have business champions, within the sector. I was talking to Oti Nigeria just now before during the break, saying you've done Oti 1. For me, I consider that a massive pilot program. Oti 2 should be one that disrupts, the sector. You will be a champion for the vegetable, sector in Nigeria. Where we sign partnership with the aid of, His Excellency Mr. Michel, to export vegetable to Netherlands, to export flowers to Netherlands, right? How do we invest across, all our airports to have at least minimum 10 cargo airports that are flying vegetables, flowers to Netherlands every single day? So we need to start to change our mindset that agriculture shouldn't be seen as a way of life, but as a business that is very profitable. I met some farmers who say they do 20%. I don't know how true that is, but it means there's a lot of money in agriculture. Lastly, I also want to talk about, how we start to infuse a few of the usual norms we hear, into agriculture. One is climate resilience, in agriculture. Number 2 is also to start to think about, how we can infuse human rights in agriculture. Kids shouldn't be farming, right? We have a very youthful population that can farm, right? How do we start to, chase the infusion of all these sort of norms, traceability, all these sort of things, because this is how we can attract international capital within the sector. And if we can attract more international capital, we can blend domestic capital into the sector to bring down the cost of capital for every one of us. Lastly now, also I want to talk about, what we need to do in terms of accessing financing from the Bank of Agriculture. For us, we can take risks because we're a government-owned bank, but we can't take uncalculated risks. So for all of us in here, finding business development experts to sort of help you start to create what I call statement of accounts, financial literacy. I mean, the usual norms that we request for. It would help you to be able to access funding because they say we're expecting a lot of money. I mean, 1.5 trillion, it's more money to, they can know nothing like just $1 billion. But for us, we think it can go a long way in the sector. I want to appreciate everyone who's been here today. I want to say we keep the torch aloft. The agriculture sector will be bigger than the oil and gas sector in our lifetime, if you all believe. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for this man. I mean, it's the calm, the demeanor, the gravitas, the panache of this man who looks like Idris Elba, more like an actor. All those actors that say, I'm going to kill you. And I'll do just that. Get out of here. That sort of thing. Maybe you should try acting, Mr. Thank you very much for that short closing remark. Anyways, we'll have group photographs from the front, and then we'll have lunch. It's a wrap, of course. We'll have lunch at the restaurant, Yeroki. So get that right and get down to the restaurant, and then we'll have lunch. But first, let's have group photographs from the table here, and then we'll be joined by others as we call it a day. I hope you've had a nice time today. If you've done that, please a round of applause for yourselves. Again, my name is Fortuna Moshola. I'm a poet, I'm a broadcast journalist, I'm a spoken word artist. I'm, different things in the media. So it's nice catching up with everyone here. Thank you again. Bitcoin. I'll give you virtual copies. Thank you very much, everyone.